Hello! Welcome to Mermaid Makeup Monday. I am Shay Monique. I am the owner of Society of Fat Mermaids, and I'm very excited to bring the second Mermaid Makeup Monday featuring Eloria, the crystalline siren, to you. As you can see, I'm pretty barefaced. Makeup is not my strong suit as a mer. I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with some talented makeup artists, but I am very grateful. I think we can all benefit from working with someone as skilled as Eloria, and most mers are wondering, how do you get that makeup to stay on underwater? Eloria taught a kind of introductory class for us about 3 weeks ago, and it was phenomenal. And we all learned so much. We had amazing engagement. I see we have awesome engagement already. So the way this will work is I'm going to bring Eloria on in just a second. And as we're working, Eloria is going to demo things, and I ultimately will go off screen. And I am here just to kind of moderate comments and just make sure everyone's doing well. So I see Hillary Johnson is here. Hillary says that this is her first ever makeup tutorial, and she's been mermaiding for 1.5 years now. Hillary actually is one of the reasons we are here right now. We have bi-weekly at Society of Fat Mermaids a crafternoon, which is just a casual hangout where you can bring any craft projects you have and just kind of have some community. We started doing it because we are social distancing, but I'm sure we will keep it up beyond the quarantines and the social distancing is in place. But currently we're doing that every 2 weeks. And I believe on the first one, Hillary was like, I need makeup lessons. So thank you, Hillary, for that suggestion. DC Love is here, and DC Love goes by she, her, and they, them pronouns. I'm going to try to remember everybody's pronouns as I read questions throughout. If I forget, I'll just refer to your name as I am able to read it. But that's basically how we are set up. I'm going to bring Eloria on. So Eloria is again, just a really talented mermaid, and amazing makeup artist. One of the first mermaids I discovered on Instagram when I started looking for fat and plus size mermaids. Hi, Grace. And did just such a wonderful, like, I don't know what I was expecting during our first class, but it was just beyond my expectations. So I'm sure many of you who are here were there, so you know what to expect. And for those of you who don't know what to expect, just know things are going to be awesome. I am going to bring Eloria on now, and watch me fumble through my technology a little bit. Let's see, I can do this. We're going to add Eloria. Look at that. Okay, hello, Eloria.
Hello. Trying to bring you full screen here. How is everybody doing tonight? Oh, I'm upside down. Does it look okay on your side? I am upside down.
There you are.
There we go.
You're upside down while we're split screen, but how about this?
Yes.
Because when I disappear, I think you're going to need to reorient your screen, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Oh, now I'm super upside down. All right, I had it right the first time.
I'm going to disappear. How about that? Or let's make me little. Nope, I made me big. Let's make, there you go. All right. And so now you can reorient yourself and you can have the whole screen. And I will just be a disembodied voice. Grace says it's magic. And says you're still a little.
In the water, we have 360-degree, maneuverability. So I'm just trying to figure out how to make this big. Are we still with StreamYard?
Yes. You disappeared. Okay, we lost Eloria. I know Eloria will be right back. Thank you, guys. We're really great at the swimming. Not always on it with the technology, but everybody is learning and growing right now. So let's bring Eloria back. All right, we're going to add Eloria. We're going to disappear me. And then, okay, so you are oriented vertically. Yeah, we can see you, but your small screen. Will your screen go wide?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Are we using StreamYard or the one?
We are using StreamYard again. Yeah.
Okay, so I've just got to figure out how to make us go full screen.
Yes.
Video. No, that went away. Well, darn.
And you're gone again. Oh, this is fun. Fun, fun, fun. I don't know who's chuckling, but I am chuckling with you. DC Love, you are new to mermaiding and you have a tankini from us. That is awesome. What is my question for you? My question for you, I live in the DC area. I'm part of let's add Aloria. Nope, Aloria's gone. Part of a pod called Metro Merfolk. And so when I see the letters DC, I ask, are you from the DC area or is DC something different? All right. Aloria is coming and going. So do you all have any questions about waterproof makeup as we're getting ourselves set up? All right, here's Aloria again.
You can just keep me half screen. I'm trying to figure out how to make it full screen on my phone. If you know how to do that, let me know.
Does your screen have a, okay, have an Android? I know you have an Android. All right, on mine, there is a thing, this is so funny, that says auto rotate screen that I can select in my settings. And so because of that, when I just turn my phone 90 degrees, it'll flip. Like the same way you could make like a YouTube video go full screen.
Yeah, I getcha. All right, there we go. That might be helpful. Hopefully now it won't refresh automatically, which is what kept happening last time.
Bam! Perfection.
Woot. Yay!
All right, you did it. Okay, let's learn about underwater makeup. Thank you everyone for bearing with us with our technical difficulties. Yes.
Hooray for stuff. Ah! Are you still there?
We are here.
It did a thing. There? I'm here, but it did a thing where I can't see you anymore. It switched tabs.
Okay, I'm playing with something. But let's see. Let me go back to comment. Can you see me now?
No, I just had a Chrome. My hand brushed the screen, so I'll just flip tabs on Chrome. All right, there we go. People, hello. I'm so glad that we're all here, trying to get my phone all oriented. I've got a table full of makeup to show you guys, so there's not much space for the tripod to go, so we're struggling. How is everybody doing tonight? Looks like folks are doing well. There we've got Jenna is here, Grace is here, DC Love is here, Hillary's here from the Northern Virginia area. Grace, I know, is in Maryland. Kelly Kane is in from West Virginia. And people seem very excited for this class. Okay, so let's start off. Are we all ready? Shall we get started? Let's get started. Welcome, Joseph. Hey. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, like Shay said, thank you for bearing with our technical issues. So first, I think one thing that a lot of people always want to know about, but especially with waterproof makeup, is primer. That is like the first thing that a lot of people think of, and we had some people ask questions. Shay was kind enough to put out questions as to, you know, what you guys wanted to learn about, and primer was one of the first things that got asked about. And I don't know about you guys, and I am always up for if you guys have heard anything different. The one underwater primer that I know about straight off the bat is Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer. So that is like the one that I have found specifically on the market. There are not many to be full-on waterproof. So that is what we're going to use this afternoon, or for you guys on the East Coast this evening. And there's an old trick that I learned from Nikia Joy, and that we talked about last class, about using eye primer to, if you have any blemishes to cover, to do that as you're priming. So put your waterproof eye primer, which in this case is the NYX Proof It eye primer, and you put that on any blemishes that you might have, and then you cover those up with your favorite waterproof concealer. And for me, in this case, it would be the L'Oreal Infallible Full Coverage Concealer, and it is advertised as being waterproof. And I believe the shades are pretty good in this range. Shay, do you use them at all? No, you have good skin. You haven't had to worry about that.
Either that or I'm a little bit lazy and need to take your class. Hillary wants to know how you feel about Quench by Tarte as a primer.
I have not used it. Hillary, is it advertised as being specifically waterproof?
It'll take a couple seconds for Hillary to come back in. And then Hillary's asking for a list of waterproof products. And I will let everyone know that I do mostly try to type along when I hear Aloria mention products. So bear with me. A lot of things will not be spelled properly, but it'll just be there so you can kind of reference. And yeah, so the first product you said you used, Aloria, is what? Because I did not type that one in the comments.
Well, I have a treat for everybody who's here. So I've been busting my tail fins the last few days, last week actually, to come up with a waterproof makeup list. And I can post that to the event. That is what I have done to help me compile how to do things today and what to suggest to you guys. So that's something that we have as a resource. The NYX Proof It primer is what I'm putting on my skin. And the at least the blemishes. And for the face primer, the Smashbox Photo Finish.
Smashbox Photo Finish. Perfect. And you said you have a list. So that's awesome. So does that mean
I do. Okay. A list I'm using through here.
Perfection. That's exciting.
So the Proof It primer, an honorable mention. Now, originally, this came up when I was looking on Google for waterproof primers. The Benefit Porefessional Pore Filling Primer. Upon further research, various users came back with, no, this is not waterproof. But one thing to possibly think of when you're doing your makeup is that silicone stuff, just like your tail, is less likely to bleed and be affected in the water because it's like a polymer, rubbery, non-porous, plasticky material. So the same stuff that helps you make your pores go away is the same stuff that will stay on a little better in the water, if that makes sense. Water-based products are more likely to dissolve in the water because like to like, and it goes, oh, look, I can dissolve now. Do we have anybody in here who's done FX makeup before?
Like special effects makeup?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sure we do.
I have a question for folks to see if they've experienced something.
Let's see. Anybody do FX makeup? Alicia says never, but it looks cool.
Totally valid. Totally valid. There we go. So one thing
and then Hillary says she once turned herself into Jack Black.
Oh, nice. If you've done
Leslie has done a small amount of FX makeup. Leslie's an awesome costumer.
Okay, so all of you guys, have you heard about alcohol makeup, alcohol paints?
Tell us about alcohol paints.
Okay, I was waiting for people's answers to see if there was a yes or no.
Jenna says, Hillary says no, and Jenna does quite a bit of airbrush and face painting.
Oh, nice. Well, airbrush has alcohol often in it as well. Not always, but sometimes. And anything alcohol-based is also more likely to stay on your skin. So they put a lot of alcohol-based makeup on like zombie stuff and waterproof photo shoots, water shoots, because alcohol makeup bonds with your skin better and is more water resistant.
Oh, cool.
And another thing that I've been doing research on is how to make your own waterproof primer. And this blew my mind. One thing that has been used for a long time, right before weddings, is milk of magnesia to put on your skin before you do anything. You just wipe a little on, blend it in with your skin. You don't want gobs, just a little bit, brush it on, and that is supposed to make your skin tighten up and your pores smaller and your foundation and stuff to stay a lot better. But you're not supposed to use it very often because it will gradually soak the moisture out of your face. So if you have dry skin, it may not be a good idea for you, but if you have normal to oily, milk of magnesia is one skin prep thing you can do to help
Alicia
make your
says
makeup.
she's done that before because she gets so oily.
Yeah, and how I imagine, I guess it worked for you before, I hope.
She says she totally didn't do it right, LOL. So I don't
Oh
know
no.
what that LOL means, but
It's not supposed to go in the mouth. It'll make you sick. Another thing I heard about is aloe. You can either gently dab a bit on your skin as a waterproofing primer before you put on any makeup, or the research said that you could mix it with a little bit of water, stick it in a spray bottle, and use it as a spray primer. So that's a possibility if you don't have the money to go out and spend a ton on fancy makeups. Next, we'll get into looking for my foundation here. Aha, that's what I'm looking for. So next, we're going to go on to foundation. And we'll go into more concealers in a minute. But for right now, we'll go through our selection of foundations for every budget. One that I found through BoxyCharm that didn't come in a box, but I specifically ordered it through them. They have like discounted makeup you can get. Was the Becca Foundation. Let me get the fancy formal name to it. It's just called the Becca Foundation. Woohoo! And it's touted as being waterproof. One of the few foundations that's actually touted as being full-on waterproof. So they're the people that do the champagne pop highlighter, for anyone who's familiar with that. So that's one option if you've got some hardcore coin to spare. Another option that is really popular and has been for the last couple years is the Maybelline 24-Hour Superstay Foundation. And often drugstore ranges don't have the best shade range, but in the last few years, the bigger players have been getting a lot better in that. Rimmel, not so much, but Maybelline, Revlon, CoverGirl have been getting a more extensive shade range that they should have had 20, 30 years ago. So there's that. And anything long wear is what you're looking for. So if any, 14-hour, 16-hour, 24-hour, anything that says long wear in foundation, that's what you're looking for to make anything waterproof. You can also look for waterproof, but again, it's not easy to find. Another option is the the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. And this is a drugstore one, so this is nice and affordable, just like the last one, the Maybelline 24-Hour Superstay. And this has a pretty decent shade range. I've got a couple in there. I don't like to have a ton of different foundations of the same kind, but I've got a few in so that when I do different characters, like my Arctic character, she's a little paler, so I have a few different shades of that to play with. And the last one that I'm going to recommend to you is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation. And I'll take the, let's see, where's it good? It's all dirty because I keep it in my purse, so it gets all messy. Most of my stuff is long wear and waterproof. Because I'm one of those people that once I've done putting all this work into makeup, I don't want to have to touch it up 20, every minute of every day. So there's that. Let me look at my list here and make sure we're getting everything. Oh, yes. And another drugstore option for people on a budget, but also just because it's, again, great stuff. Less to do with being on a budget and more to do with it works, is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. So that's another one that's supposed to be really great for long wear. That was actually the first full coverage foundation I ever used. It's good stuff.
It's Milani Conceal and...
yeah, Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. And for everybody else who's still writing stuff down, we also had the Maybelline 24-Hour Superstay, the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation, L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, Becca Waterproof foundation, and 2 honorable mentions are Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation. This is an amazing makeup line, Black owned, incredible eyeshadows and colors, and their I Am Magic line is really well known for staying put, full coverage, long wear. This is amazing stuff.
Can you bring that down a little bit lower? There it is. Perfect.
They started out with eyeshadows and for the last few years have been well known in the makeup industry for being like the most pigment best eyeshadows on the market, and yet incredibly awesomely affordable. And in the last year or two, they've come out with foundation and concealer, which, if you want full coverage, are the bomb.
Alicia said they just did a big launch at Ulta.
Yeah.
AJ is here and says hello, and Mally loves your pearl hair headband.
Oh, thank you.
Gotta make sure I squeeze those compliments in.
Yes, please. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Ooh, and Mally just got the new mini collection. Mally loves Juvia's.
You know, when Nikki Tutorials and the other queens of beauty online sing their praises day after day, you know it's good. And the fact that it's an indie line, they're not answering to any big corporate company to do this, that, or the other thing. They can make what they want, make what they love. And so they make good stuff. It's awesome. And for a technique, when it comes to waterproofing, this is one thing that, do you guys watch Jackie Aina? I learned from her. Once you've got your primer on, you can take your powder, and I'm going to do this with the Coty Air Spun powder, but you can also use it with whatever other powder that you use. We're going to go into waterproof powders in a minute, but before your foundation, one trick you can do, and this is something she does all the time because she deals with having really oily skin, is after you're done with your primer, dab just a dash of powder everywhere. Just, you don't want a ton, just a light coating of powder on all the things. And ignore the cats hissing in the background. And that little bit of powder helps create a barrier and helps your makeup stay. It's especially good if you have a waterproof powder, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. I like putting the waterproof powder on as like the finishing step because it's scarce, it's hard to find waterproof powders, so I use it sparingly. And now I'm going to dab on my foundation. While I do this, do we have any questions?
We have a comment. So Alicia does watch Jackie. Alicia says Jackie has the best intro.
Yes, she does. Jackie, 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 Jackie. I think I'm making light. So today I'm doing my scary siren. I'm going to go a little light. We had a choice between what look we wanted to do, steampunk or siren. And I am doing siren today. Gotta shake them up.
Spooky siren.
Yes. And some people like to, you know, spooge their makeup out on a hand or something, but I'm like, why? You just lose product that way, so you might as well just flop it on your face. The sponge I'm using is a brand new, beautiful, oh, and I can't remember its name now. I had it in my head. It is the Juno & Co. Velvet Sponge. And the Becca Foundation is full coverage, and the Juno & Co. guy is fuzzy, which acts kind of half like a sponge and half like a brush.
Oh, cool. B just joined us. Hey, B.
Hi, B. And here, if I don't know if you can see, if I get real close, you can see it's kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, it totally looks like velvet.
Yeah, it's got the it's very velvet texture, and it's good for getting your makeup as full coverage as it can be while still using a sponge. Some people prefer brushes, but I'm a sponge girl.
Mally wants to know if you've used the Juno & Co. primer that's been advertised.
No, I didn't know about it. Link us, dude.
Yes, Mally, please pop the link in there. And if anybody has the link to the silly Coming to America, what is it, velvet thing, you should add that to the comments too, because that's what I'm thinking as I'm looking at this brush.
What I like about this Becca foundation is that it's super full coverage, and yet it's not super heavy. The Milani is touted as being waterproof, and some people say, oh, it's so light, but I don't find it super light. I actually find it a kind of heavy foundation. But, you know, if you're getting in the water and half of it is going to be absorbed by the water anyway, that might not be too terrible. That is one thing that I've found, and I would love other mermaids. You guys let me know in the comments. Do you find that you have to paint a little extra, a little more dramatically for being in the water because you know that the water is going to reduce that color a bit, fade everything out a touch?
I definitely try to, because it's like, it's the water, it's like the distance of the water, it's, I mean, a whole huge element of, you know. So I try to make things that much, it's like you want to be louder for stage makeup, and then you want to be that much louder, I feel like, for underwater makeup.
Absolutely. So now that I'm done with foundation, one thing that I'm going to talk about with concealers is that concealers, it's weird. Like foundation, they don't really put much priority on waterproof. But have you guys noticed that like mascaras, eyeliners, things around the eyes are waterproof a lot, which makes sense, I guess, because, you know, tears and daily life and stuff. But it would be nice if they would come out with more waterproof foundation.
Well, if you can convince everyone you know to convince everyone they know to convince everyone they know to buy a bunch of t-shirts from Society of Fat Mermaids, we can launch our own underwater makeup line.
There we go.
But in the meantime, I guess, you know, we'll have to.
I don't know about you, but I've definitely thought out my own palette. If I ever had my own collab or anything, thought out what palette I would make. It'd be full of color. I love colorful stuff.
B wants to know what makeup is good to make scales.
We will totally be doing that in a little bit. It all depends on what effect you're going for. For right now, let's get into the face. So one thing that I have found, and I learned that this is actually quite common, is that creams are the way to go when it comes to a lot of things for waterproofing. So this is the e.l.f. Aqua Colors Compact. I'm trying to clean it because again, it's dirty. But it's a little guy that comes like this, and it's a little compact. And what comes inside is a cream blush and a cream contour. And anything cream you want to put on before your powder. So you put it on right after your foundation in the same time as like your concealer and all that stuff before your powder. Because if you powder first and then put your cream on top of it, it'll disturb the foundation. It'll get all chunky and pilly. It doesn't mix well with the foundation. I mean, the powder. So this is one option for contour. Gonna duck down here and get some of the other things that I've brought to show you guys. Another option is the Wet n Wild contour stick. They've got contour sticks that are wonderful. And they're not made to be waterproof, but because they're cream products, they're better for being in the water and lasting a long time. We also have the Jordana Contour. I'm knocking everything over. That was the first contour stick that I ever noticed was like, oh my gosh, this actually stayed on in the water. And I had just used it by happenstance. Didn't think that it would stay on in the water, but it turned out to do just that. So I was really impressed. And that's another tube like this. It's by Jordana, Jordana.
Mally likes to use BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Rio, Juvia's Place with e.l.f. setting spray in between products.
Nice. Oh, I almost forgot mix-ins. So another option when you're doing any waterproof makeup are the options for mix-ins. And what that means is you can take something like this little guy, which is the Catrice Prime and Find Makeup Transforming Drops, and put 3 of these drops into your foundation, and that will help make it waterproof, or at least water resistant. So this is a great option for any mermaid looking to waterproof her makeup. Another option that one of the commenters a few days ago when I asked what their favorite waterproof makeup was the Makeup Forever Aqua Seal, which is like a spray that you can spray onto your skin. And they said that you can also mix it in with your foundation, other things like that. That's a great option. What's nice for me about the Catrice line, Makeup Forever is a high-end beauty brand. Catrice is a more budget-friendly drugstore brand. I don't know if I've ever seen them in real life. Have any of you guys seen Catrice at drugstores?
I've never heard of Catrice, but I'm not a big makeup person.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I've now started. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, Alicia says she's not seen it online or in real life, the Catrice, and I was just going to let you know that I've now started a slight side conversation about coming to America too, and people have found that link.
Yes,
Hillary's
F you too.
Hillary also has never heard of Catrice, so I'm glad I'm not alone under my rock.
No,
Hillary there.
Catrice is a great brand, but I've heard that it's at drugstores. I have only ever seen it at like Ulta or online places. And the stuff that I just put on is the Wet n Wild. And what's nice, a lot of YouTubers really love creams because they say it blends in so well. And you do all that. You can do it with a brush. You can do it with your fingers. You can do it with a sponge.
Mally asked how you decide where to put the cheek contour.
Oh, okay. So this is something that for anybody who didn't get to see our last makeup workshop, we talked about placement and all that stuff. So if we don't cover anything here in our tonight session that you feel like we missed, that might be in the last one that you can find on the Society of Fat Mermaids page. I believe, Shay, is where that one still is.
Yeah, and it's totally on YouTube as well, and I am looking for the link right now.
And Mally, the placement of contour is different from bronzer. For bronzer, I usually do it around the edge of my face, around just the outsides, maybe bring it a little in like a helper for the contour, and underneath. That kind of just gives you a glow. Contour, I take from the temple, under the cheekbone to about the outside corner of my eye. That way it doesn't go too far in. If you bring your contour way far in, it almost makes you look like a marionette. You get that like super round cheeky weeky effect. And they say that it ages you because it makes your cheeks look heavy, brings your face down. So I try to stop right about outer corner of the eye. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. So now we'll get into powders since I'm done. Oh, nope, I forgot concealer. So next step is more waterproof concealers. e.l.f. has a new line of concealers, the 16-hour concealers. This one is the classic 16-hour. Some people with dry skin not too fond of this one, but they've just come out with the 16-hour hydrating concealer. So that's another option. And e.l.f. is super affordable. The L'Oreal was waterproof. Juvia's Place is nice and long-lasting. And when you're doing stuff under the water, again, like you can kind of go heavier, but you still don't want to be like super mega cakey massive. And you always want to blend. Let me check here. I need to put, before you powder, also you want to make sure you put on your concealer. Because again, once that goes on, you're done. So don't forget the under eyes like I was about to. I was about to powder without putting on my anti-raccoon treatment. And I put a little on my upper lip to make that stick out a bit, a little on my inner forehead, the central forehead, and down the nose just a bit to highlight that. Some people don't need concealer to use for blemishes, and they just do it for their under eye. That's a nice place to be. I wish I was part of that crew, but I'm not. And usually, the best practice for under eye concealer is using your finger because it helps smooth out that concealer and it actually helps warm it up and get it emollient so it blends in better and more easily. And don't forget to take it like inside. You don't want to leave like a glob of concealer on the inner corner.
Now, Hillary says, so you're doing concealer after foundation?
Yes, I've always done concealer after because I find that if I do it before and then I pounce foundation on, any coverage that I got from the concealer is pushed away, like it moves everything around and all of my redness comes back out. So I do one layer of foundation, and if I need greater coverage, I use concealer on top of that. So I'm just treating those areas and not pouncing foundation and then inadvertently pouncing the coverage away from the concealer. That's what I found, but your mileage may vary.
Okay.
Just like some people do their eyes first and then do skin, and some people do skin first and then their eyes. There are reasons for all of it. It's just all a little different for everybody.
Right, right.
I've just recently tried doing eyes first. I like it, but it definitely feels strange and new to me. What about the rest of you guys? Do you guys do eyes first or skin first?
Let's see. Eyes or skin?
While you guys let me know that, I'm going to run down a list of waterproof powders. First, we've got this one that I'm about to use, the Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder. And it is waterproof. It says right there on the label, waterproof. Love this stuff. Urban Decay also has a waterproof pressed powder. And Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact has a waterproof powder. So those are some great options regardless of your budget. Both Catrice and Essence are on the lower range of drugstore, and Urban Decay is a higher end powder that you can look to.
Let's see. AJ does skin first. Leslie's done both, depending on how much time she has. B does skin first. Alicia says skin first, but she never does eyes. And then Hillary is a lucky one. She does skin first, but only does blush since her skin is pretty flawless.
Lucky.
Vicky does skin first because she only because I use foundation lightly on my eyes. Yeah. And then Mally conceals under eyes and lids, sets with powders, and then does the eye look before face. So Mally does it like all. Like, yeah.
One tip for anyone, regardless of what order they do, before you powder, get all those creases out with your finger. Make sure those creases are gone, because once you put that powder on, you're setting the powder, you're setting the foundation, and it becomes one. So you don't want to cement the under eye creases in with the powder, if that makes sense. So you want to get those creases out first before you set them in with powder. So that is why you'll see me smooth things out real quick first before I put a powder on. Look up and then slap that powder on. And that is just for my under eye. And I still do that even if I'm going swimming. I love the Coty Airspun because it's got a lot of coverage. So it's especially good for making blemishes and under eye circles go bye-bye. And with this stuff, I will definitely powder even if I'm going on underwater. I will powder any blemishes that still are trying to peek through. Y'all ever have that where you've got like some face demon sticking out, and no matter what you do to it, he's all, hi, over here. Hey, how's it going? So I will spot with powder. And I've got the Catrice waterproof. So once I'm done little spot treatments with the Coty, by the way, this is the Coty Airspun. You can find this at the drugstore.
Haha, I thought you were talking about a sponge. I wrote Coty Air Sponge. Haha.
Nice. The Catrice I have only ever found online, and as you can see, I've hit pan. but I am not one of those people that, oh my God, as soon as I see the silver at the bottom of the thing, I throw it away. I no.
Better get every inch out of there, every gram,
Right?
every. Amanda wants to know if anyone's tried the Cryolan Dermacolor fixing powder. It's supposed to be waterproof.
Oh, excellent. Okay, now we all got one more to try.
Yeah. And then Hillary
And
wants to know if you can contour without foundation.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can contour with powders or creams without foundation. Definitely. If you're doing powder, you're going to want to do usually lay some kind of powder down on top of your skin just so that the contour doesn't get patchy or skip, so that when you're putting it on, it doesn't do that and stick in some places and not in others. With this Catrice powder, I'm dabbing it on with a powder brush and just swirling it lightly everywhere, making sure it gets in all the spots. Not worrying so much about my eyes because I'm going to have that taken care of in a moment with the NYX Proof It and other products we're using there, but I want to get under my chin and all the places that we've used foundation on just to help everything stay and to blend any extra powder away from the Coty Airspun. And again, you can use as much or as little as you want, but you don't have to have gobs and gobs because you're about to do other stuff. You still want those things to stick. So you just want to sort of smooth it out here, there, and everywhere. And
AJ's
this is why I
recently.
love. Hmm?
I just said AJ recently bought the Coty powder on your recommendation last time and is looking
Oh,
forward to using
nice.
it. So thank you.
I got a call coming in, so I had to scooch in real close, real quick, and be like, "Nope, I'm busy." um. Oh yeah, I hope you like it. So there's that, and then the next step is going to be something else. You know, they say, "What is your favorite step when it comes to makeup?" And I kind of like it all. Like, there's no one step I don't like because I like the transformation. Something that something that you guys do too? Oh, and in the way of face coloring, I almost forgot. I've got a blush from LA Girl, and it's a stick blush, so you can even do blush in the stick cream form, just like that elf. Next, putting things away that we've talked about and putting things closer that we have yet to talk about. I had everything nice and organized, but of course, now that I'm in it, I'm like, where did I put that thing that I just put down?
It's probably because you organized it. I know when my things are disorganized, I know where they are. And then I like clean it up and it's like, you have to remember the system.
Right?
Vicky is
Where's the thing?
wondering, Vicky is wondering if you've ever used unicorn snot.
The glitter. No, I have not. I have never used it. But I would like to for daytime festivals, for not daytime, for dry festivals. I would imagine that it has it dissolves in water. I haven't seen anything about it being waterproof, but I could be wrong. For bronzing, the Rimmel natural bronzer is touted as being waterproof. I've used it for years. Let's see, there we go. And this is good stuff. Rimmel is, again, a drugstore brand. Let me get you my list of waterproof bronzers.
While you're getting that list, I just want to let you know that Kelly is amazed at how your face goes from everyday plain face to porcelain doll in such a short period of time.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm going to let everybody know because Alicia is more makeup savvy than I am. So Alicia, whose name is written backward on her profile, will be taking over the makeup name typing for me. So, but Alicia's going to try to get that in the comments for you all. All right.
So, thank you, Alicia. That's really awesome. For waterproof bronzers, we've got Rimmel Natural Bronzer, Tarte Amazonian Clay Matte Waterproof Bronzer, and another Tarte Matte Waterproof Bronzer in Park Avenue Princess, and the Hourglass Superficial, I guess that's the name of the color, Waterproof Bronzer. And it also has contour and blush in it, the Hourglass Superficial Waterproof Bronzer and Blush. So Hourglass, for those who are not familiar with it, is a like high-end, super bougie brand. They make, I want to say like an $85 foundation stick. They're like top of the tier makeup. Tarte is high-end as well, but not quite as pricey as that. Contours and blush. Let's see, we've gotten the Wet n the Wild. The Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stain in Sweetheart can be used as a blush as well. So, what about you guys? Do you have any favorite bronzers or contours that you have enjoyed over the years that you have found to be waterproof?
B really loves the Rimmel bronzer that you're using.
This stuff is
it's got no shimmer. Nice. And Hillary loves Tarte.
Nice.
And Alicia uses the Revlon or Just Kissable Balm as a blush.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then AJ and I are both going to stay in the drugstore prices. But I appreciate that you give us the full range. Ooh. And
I try to, because I know I might be broke, but that doesn't mean everybody else is.
Fair enough. Hillary has once used a sample bronzer called Hula, but hasn't been able to find it again. And Vicky just says that she's new to waterproof and thanks for teaching. And Grace says she uses whatever's at the bottom of the makeup bag. And yeah, I will put anything as blush personally, whether it's my lipstick, my eyeshadow, blush if I have it on me. But if I don't, it's like whatever.
I love that. I definitely feel like makeup, there really are no rules. Like if I really like the color of this contour and I'm lacking for transition shades and an eyeshadow, hello, what's going on my eyes? So I'm doing my contour now, and the contour for me is the same as bronzer, in at least where I put it on the cheeks, except I make it a little higher than underneath my cheek. I bring it up just a tiny bit in the back to help sculpt. And I'm doing a pretty dramatic contour. This is not quite as the way I would do it on it every day, because again, I'm doing this as a siren, so I'm getting a little extra spoopy. I put it underneath my double chin, and I put it on the back of my jaw to help the jawbone stick out but recede the parts behind it, decrease that full face effect. And for anybody new to makeup and they want to use bronzers and contour, one thing I always really try to encourage is that it's important not to stop a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to get my bronzer or my contour in my hair. Do it. Get that bronzer and your contour into your hair, because that way you don't have the weird naked line of skin that a lot of people get. Like they have this dark shading and then a naked spot right before their hair.
Like they're wearing a mask.
Really weird. What'd you say, Shay?
I said like they're wearing a mask.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Ooh, Vicky just submitted an awesome beauty on a budget tip. Vicky haunts eBay to get the good stuff cheap.
Nice.
And Vicky has difficulties finding foundation. Vicky is a lily blue person.
Nice. Vicky, the one thing I would make sure of is that when you're shopping on eBay, you get the real thing. There are a lot of imposters on eBay, like a lot of fake makeup or what we call fake up. So wherever you're getting it from, just make sure it's the real thing and not a phony.
That's a really important tip.
Yeah, you know, for a while, because of one of my favorite YouTubers, I was really into like trying to find dupes of things like Anastasia Moonchild. I was in love with that palette, but I wasn't going to spend $50 for a highlighter palette. I don't have that money. And I was like, no, are you insane? So I saw on YouTube, one of my favorite YouTubers did a fake up comparison series. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that there were fake stuff out there. And I eventually sought the fake stuff out, thinking, oh, this is great. You know, I can get the look without having to pay the price. And then, of course, 5 years later, you find out that, oh, a lot of those places are getting in trouble because they've got like rat droppings in their makeup and dangerous fillers and all these horrible things. And it's like, no, oh my God, okay, I'm not buying it anymore.
Grace says a good way is good tip is to ask for expiration dates on eBay. That's
Excellent.
a good way to kind of tell the real from the fake. Vicky and Hillary have both had good luck. And we've got multiple requests for a wig class. So I'm just going to put it out there that I will make that happen.
For a what class?
A wig class.
Oh, wig class. Heck yes. I have done a few things with wigs. There is an extra strong wig glue that I use whenever I go underwater. And it's like industrial stuff. It holds on to your wig, but if you get any on your hair, it holds on to that too. So you have to be careful. All right. Next up, we've done powder. Okay, so I'm going to go into highlighter, but I'm not going to do it yet because I like to do that after my eyeshadow. Some wonderful highlighters that people can use. And I've culled them out of my makeup collection, and I tried them out the other night, really making sure that I didn't recommend anything that wasn't for true. We've got the Cover FX Glow Drops. These things are very glittery, but if you're doing stuff like scales or want that glow on your cheeks and don't mind the glitteriness, these stay put quite well. Makeup Revolution also has liquid highlighter. Luminous Luna is the color. This stuff is amazing. It's like liquid metal, and this is a drugstore brand. Cover FX is a high end. I got this off of BoxyCharm. This is a gold in this shade. This is like a crazy silver. And usually when it comes to highlighters, liquid highlighters is what you're looking for waterproof. They're often mixed with a little bit of alcohol, and that helps things set and stay. I don't know how or why, but I've just found that to be true. Powders often rub off or just wash away really easily. So when it comes to things like highlighter, eyeshadow, liquids are actually a great bet. If you don't have access to liquids, here's some of my other options. Wet n Wild actually has a few options for you. The stick, just like we were talking about the bronzers and the blush, they have a stick highlighter that's really good. This is from their Goth collection. It's the holographic highlighting stick. Brilliant Illuminator, I believe is what it's called. They also have liquid highlight in the Hello Halo collection. And it's got a big fat doe foot. I'll put some on the back of my hand here. And they come in various shades. So you'll see me, I use a lot of silvers and blues. And I wish they would do more just straight up silver. A lot of the silvers are mixed with lavender. I don't know why purple is the automatic go-to, but if you're a purple fan, so it looks like that. And the Makeup Revolution is a drugstore brand. It's an actual British brand. And you can get them at Ulta in person or online. Makeup Revolution and Cover Effects have droplers like this. And you just bloop. You want a tiny bit. You can always put on more, but it's really hard to take away. And these guys, you'll pat into your makeup. But like, look, that one little drop. Look how much coverage that one bloop gets.
Whoa.
That's like more than your whole, yeah, that's more than your whole face would need. So this stuff you might drop on the back of your hand and then subtly bloop. You also don't want to, here, I'll put some on, why not? You don't want to smear when you get these liquid things because that will disturb your foundation. You want to dot them on. And just like when you're trying to make your makeup set during the day, you want to start with a liquid and gradually go in layers and end up with a powder. So you're going to set it with, if you want, your favorite liquid highlighting powder, and that helps it stay in. If you just do straight up highlighting powder on your face, that will probably wash, depending on your setting spray, that will probably wash off. But if you do, we'll do a little bit. We'll do the Hello Halo on this side. And you don't want to push, you don't want to drag, because again, that will disturb your makeup. So you just want to pat it on. Oh my God, that is way more than I expected. La 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 la. We're gonna be a shiny wench today. And if you get too much, makeup blender to the rescue. Just be like, dude, I don't need that much, and just dab. And that helps, whether it's contour, whether it's highlight, that helps tone stuff down. You're like, not that much, dude. So yeah, usually for highlighters, liquid is your best bet. And we talked about this last time, like I'm known for being a little extra when it comes to highlighter, because who doesn't like shiny?
Grace says, more shiny winches.
Right. We heart shiny, we're mermaids, for goodness sake. So someone asked about scales. This is one step, one of the places where you can start prepping for scales if you want to. Sometimes you can make scales look like they're just coming straight up out of your skin, which means that like your skin color is the base, and then you put a contrasting color for the scales, and that will be the second color. That will be what contrasts. Or you can take your highlighter at whatever step you're comfortable with in making it. I'm gonna blend in here. I didn't realize I was quite so unblended on that side. And then you can take your highlighter and put it in the spaces where you're gonna put your scales, and that makes a pop for a contrasting color. So if I wanted to, I could put a highlighter where my scales are gonna go, and that creates a bright effect for dark scales to go on. Make sense?
Yes.
No. All right, next up, we're gonna move to eyes. Gonna try to pick up the pace here a little bit. We've got our NYX Proof It Eye Primer, and that is anything that you put on top of it will make it waterproof. So that's pretty amazing. They do still sell it, thankfully. I just checked the website to make sure everything that we talked about was available. Another one, it's not touted as being waterproof, but it's touted as being sweat-proof, and I just purchased this because I wanted to make sure it was still available. The CoverGirl Lid Lockup. And this makes a nice tacky base for your eyeshadow. Some people like to do concealer if you've got veininess, capillaries in your eyes, discoloration. You can tell I've got like a lot of purple in my eyelids. I don't tend to like putting concealer on my eyelids because I find that they get very creasy. So it evens out the color, but it doesn't help much with making it crease less for an eyeshadow. So I tend to use just straight up primer and depend on the eyeshadow itself to make it to make that veininess go away. And I put a little primer on all the way up to the eyebrow. I can't talk. To the brow bone. And down in the inner corner and smooth it all out with my fingers. The CoverGirl makes things a little sticky, which is good for grabbing onto your eyeshadow. And again, CoverGirl's a drugstore brand, so that's pretty accessible. I found it's harder to find in stores, so I just got mine off of Amazon, and the prices were the same.
That works. Hillary was wondering if you know if the Too Faced Shadow Primer lasts well in water.
When I was looking up eye primers, I did not see that as a suggestion for waterproofing primer. And being mostly a drugstore girl, I have not used it myself. So I wish I could give you a better answer, but I have not used it personally.
Well, I think we all appreciate an honest answer.
Yeah, I try not to talk out of my boutete. Oh, another concealer option. I don't know if it's still available in stores. I looked online and it's not available there, but I did see it on eBay. The NYX Incredible Waterproof Concealer. It comes in these little blue sticks forms, and it's a little cream that you just dial up. It's got a little cream nubbly in there. I found this initially in mid-K when I first started mermaiding, and I was looking for waterproof concealer, and they were like $2.99. So I was like, yes, gimme. And the other NYX concealer that I brought out and saw, haha, this is another one that's still available, thank God, is the NYX Gotcha Covered Total Full Coverage Concealer, touted also as being waterproof. And sometimes if you don't have access to a foundation that you like that's long wear or waterproof, you can just use this. You can use a concealer as your foundation. You just want to make sure that it matches the color. I'm curious, to you mermaids, do you match the color of your face for your foundation? Do you match your neck? Do you match your chest? I match my chest because my face is darker than my body. What about y'all?
This is a great question. I know as a kid, I feel like I was taught to like match my wrist or something, which is funny because like I think about that the same way I think about like testing like a baby's bottle milk. Which is
Yeah.
funny. It's like, let's look inside your arm. But I don't think my wrist is the same color as my face, so I don't know why that was the place. Maybe it's just because AJ's a wrist person too. Hillary tries to keep consistent skin tones throughout. B matches their neck. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone with this wrist thing.
I can't see my neck very well. It's one of those, like, how do I see, even with a mirror? It's like, is my chin casting a shadow and altering the color? So I just match somewhere around my testicular region. So for eyeshadow, we've got a bunch of products. I'm just going to read them off to you. And then I'll show you the ones that I have because I don't have them all. Waterproof eyeshadows. Maybelline Tattoo Studio Cream Eyeshadow, which I actually do have. So that's this guy here. You'll notice them in the drugstore because they're all individual and they're in these fat and happy little glass tubs. And you can see the color on the bottom. L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-Hour Eyeshadow. I also have one of those. That's this guy here. They also come individually. I wish that they would make palettes out of these, but I noticed that a lot of these are singles. The Maybelline Color Tattoo Concentrated Crayon, which is a fat eye crayon, not like an eyeliner, but it's actually like an eye stick. I do not have those, but after finding it online, I'm gonna. We've got the BH Cosmetics liquid eyeshadows, which I put on this list. I found those on the BH website. And that's these little guys. I think they're called Eyelight liquid eyeshadows. And again, there's something about cream and liquid eyeshadows that these are usually the best for staying underwater. We've also got the Hard Candy liquid eyeshadows. They come in the long stick form. And I love their silver and their copper. This one's good for steampunk, and this one is good for, you know, mermaid, siren, all kinds of fun stuff. And they come in other natural colors too. If you don't do like all the dramatic makeup, don't think that you can't get these things because you're not into the same dramatic look. These also come in a range of tones that are more natural if you want to do more of a light, natural look. J-Cat Beauty liquid eyeshadow is also another option. And that looks a lot like the BH ones. They're just this little pot of liquid eyeshadow here. And I'm going to work on my eyes for a second. And while we do that, I'd love to hear, what are your favorite waterproof liners? Because that's something that's pretty popular, pretty common, is waterproof eyeliner. So what do you guys use? What are your favorites?
I think I have a Revlon one. Hillary wants to know if you can use waterproof primer and any type of eyeshadow, and that would make, once you use the waterproof primer, won't that make the eyeshadow waterproof?
Face or eye? I'm guessing you're asking face.
I'm not sure. I'm going to read it verbatim. Couldn't you use a waterproof primer in any type of eyeshadow, and that would theoretically make it waterproof? That is what is.
Theoretically, but it wouldn't have the same crease proofing factor that eye primers do. Eye primers are to do two things, or two or three actually, to elongate the wear of your makeup, to keep creasing down to a minimum, and smooth the canvas. Face primers are built for something different.
Okay, Hillary's clarified. She is asking about eye primer. So if you have a waterproof eye primer, will that make a non-waterproof shadow waterproof?
Yes, that's what the NYX Proof It is for. Absolutely. That is definitely an option.
Awesome.
And that's what I'm doing right here. I put the CoverGirl on, and I've got a Sugar Pill Love Plus eyeshadow. And just by having the Proof It underneath, the Sugar Pill will be more water resistant.
Cool. Hillary says, fantastic.
And I'm using a fluffy brush to do the first coat. I'm doing a red and black look for my siren today. So I'm just putting on a little base coat of red. Another thing you can do if you don't have a waterproof primer is these Maybelline Color Tattoo eyeshadows. The little glass pots are good to smear over your eye in one color if you have multiple colors and whatever design you're looking for. These act as wonderful eye primers.
Good to know. Alicia would like to you to please repeat the Sugar Pill name.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Sugar Pill Love Plus.
Love
is
Plus.
the red that I'm using. Hello, Bunny. I have Kitty Cat coming up to visit here. Another good red that I found over the years, because I occasionally do siren stuff, it's always my mission to find good reds, is the NYX Cosmetics Hot Pots Primal Colors in red.
There you go.
And these come in all kinds of different colors, blue, yellow. They're a semi-limited shade series of bright shades. So they've got green, yellow, orange. While I do this, I'd love to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite waterproofing tricks? Do you have any infallible go-tos that you're just like, oh my God, I do this with my makeup every time. This is like my go-to waterproof technique.
Personally, I just try to use whatever waterproof things I can find, or like you said, anything that just says super long lasting. B is really appreciating the red. They say very luring. It's always a siren color.
I think red is one of those colors that in just like everyday wear is super, super underrated. Like it looks so pretty on so many skin tones, and it doesn't need to be as terrifying as people make it. They're like, oh, red, it's so bold. I'm like, well, you put red on your lips.
Right, right. True enough. Hillary hasn't tried it yet, but she just bought the 3-in-1 Tarte setting spray. And Mally is a big fan of primers and setting spray always.
Nice. Yeah, Nikki Tutorials likes to say, not to prime is a crime, which is funny because I used to be those girls that like never primed. I never used primer on my face, my eyes, nothing.
We all evolve.
Right. This is how we change and learn and grow. So for anybody who's interested in makeup technique, I'm just swiping this on at my crease, concentrating the color on the outer. I don't know if you guys can see. I always have this one spot, this little like right in the middle of my crease, this little wrinkle that never likes getting color, even with primer. So I try to dot it on and just be like, suck it up, you're getting color, doesn't matter, take it. Just like right in the center of my eye here, right on the lash line, I have a spot that doesn't like getting color. How about you guys? Do you have any spots on you that fights your makeup? And lastly, for red, as a red recommendation, the James Charles has one in his giant palette, but if you don't want to go that big or that expensive, another good option for people who appreciate red shadows, we talked about this last time as well, is the Main Squeeze palette by ColourPop. I think this was like $15, $12. And this is just a selection of red tones.
Juicy. Grace says her whole face is resistant to color and getting the makeup on.
Nice. Nice.
Hillary says, me too, Grace, me too. But you know, this is why we are all here. And I couldn't tell you what parts of my face are resistant because I won't even pick up the makeup brush. So we are all here to better ourselves.
That's right. I think. What do you guys think? Oh, this is another choice I was going to give to you guys. So, choices. What do you guys want to see? Do you want me to put black on the inner corner? Do you want me to put some black more on the outer corner? Or shall we make it smoky and put it around the lash line? What would you guys like to see in a siren look?
While we wait for votes, B likes James Charles's stuff, though it is expensive. AJ said all of it. Put the liner everywhere.
Oh, well, you know, while you guys vote, let's talk about liner, because we're going to do that in a minute anyway. So, boo, 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 boo. Let's go back to our list here. Waterproof liners. There are lots of favorites out there. Eyeshadows, eyeliners. So one of my first discoveries, and will always be one of my favorites, is this guy, the Rimmel Scandalized. Let's see, liner, go back to that. Yeah, the Rimmel Scandalized liquid pencil and eyeliner. So they have pencils if you prefer pencil. They also have what I prefer, felt tip eyeliners. I draw, so anything that's like a pen, I'm like, oh, okay, I can understand this. I gotcha. It's the Rimmel Scandalized eyeliner pen. NYX also has pencils and a bunch of fun colors. And again, you're going to want to look for waterproof, because there are some that look very similar but are not. LA Splash has a Pro Artist body color line. So like they're like body liners, but I use them on my face and my body. And as you can see, they come in white, but they also have blue, neons, various colors.
That's cool.
Yeah, I definitely like them. And LA Splash is an indie brand, so that's a good thing too. They also have a black liner, which is in here, and it's very pretty and gold. It's called the Architect. The LA Splash Architect eyeliner. Aha, I knew it just by feel. You know. They also have a bunch of other wonderful lip colors in strange colors. So they're just a great line if you appreciate colorful, fun makeup. But of course, they have nudes and naturals as well. Wet n Wild has a good a waterproof eyeliner that personally I don't use because the applicator is not as easy for me. But if you prefer brush liners, those are super nice. Those are lauded even by big famous makeup people. And the other one that's a favorite of mine is the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner. And again, it's a pen, but it's got bristles, so it's not a felt tip. Making sure I face this to you correctly. And that's a good one. But I believe Urban Decay has a good one. A lot of lines have good waterproof liners. You know, if anybody in the comments can tell us, Kat Von D is very famous for having amazing liners, but I don't know if hers are waterproof. Do you guys know? And Shay, what was our verdict on where to put the black in the eyes?
I think you're going smoky eye. We've got 3 votes for smoky eye. We've got 2 votes for everywhere. And 1 vote for outer corner. So I think it's smoky eyes. AJ does not know if the Kat Von D comes in a waterproof. Hillary found a cool thing from an online seller called Alley Oop. It's a makeup pen that's like the multi-color pens from the 90s, where you have lots of colors in one, except it's a makeup pen. So it's a lip liner, highlighter, brow pencil, and eyeliner all in one pen. So Hillary's going to test that with her new setting spray.
You know, there's another shop that's super affordable that some of you guys might have heard of. Shop Miss A. Have you guys heard of that place online? They're supposed to have basically everything on the site is $1. Sponges, eyeshadow, eyeliner, foundation, the whole schmear is supposed to be $1. Whoa. Some of it is really good. Some of it is less than good. And for anyone curious what I'm doing here, I'm tapping or patting it on. I'm placing the black first because I'm afraid that if I sweep the black on, it will get everywhere. There's already a ton of fallout here, That's also why a lot of people bake, is to prevent fallout. And since I'm here with brushes at my side, I've got all my mermaid brushes here with me.
Oh, you have the fancy ones, don't you?
These I got from Rose Gal, actually.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I think it was like $13, but like $4 for a set of face brushes, and then like $8 for a pretty extensive set of like eye brushes, these little guys here.
Nice.
So I'm gonna add a little bit of black to my lash line and to my outer corner, just to intensify things. I thought about doing a halo eye, but that's something that a lot of people don't mess with, and some people require you to cut the lid. And for anyone not familiar with makeup terms, that doesn't mean actually harming yourself, thank God. That means you put shadow on a certain place, and then you use concealer, or some people use other products like P. Louise base that actually has a lot of pigment to remove a certain placement of color. And then you put eyeshadow on top of that. So that's quite a process. So I'm currently using a pencil brush to get a pretty precise placement of black. And a pencil brush has a pretty defined tip, and the bristles are pretty stiff and hard. So makeup goes where you put it.
Is cutting the lid like a cut crease?
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. Have you ever tried that, Shay?
Nope, I'm just reading Alicia's comment.
Ah! I was like, dude, if you have, props to you.
No. I'm pretty sure my 6-year-old niece is going to be teaching me about makeup in a couple weeks and will know more than I do.
Ah! You know, that is something I am so jealous of, like all these kids and teens nowadays that like have YouTube at their fingertips.
I know.
Lucky duckies.
I'm actually not jealous because I feel like there's an innocence we got that.
That's
And like
true.
I got internet young enough, you know, but that I don't know, but I appreciate having a kid. Alicia says that she never tried it. She's just seen the cool kids with it. Also, she looked it up, and the Kat Von D is vegan and waterproof. Hillary says Kat Von D is a terrible human being. I can never keep track of who's horrible these days. But
Yeah. Yeah, that is one thing in the makeup community I could totally do without, is all of the judgy who this. I'm like, I'm very, like, if you guys know Pop Lux from YouTube, he says, I'm here for the product, not the people.
fair enough.
That's really where I'm at. I'm totally here for the product, not the people.
Grace is recommending a Color Mates waterproof liquid eyeliner. It has a good applicator. Grace has oily eyelids, and this doesn't smear a raccoon when going on. AJ's with you. Here for the product, not the people.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna have to look up that one, Grace, because I have oily lids as well, which is another reason why I always use sport and waterproof primers. And I am using my finger to blend, which a lot of beauty gurus are like, how dare you? But I'm not a beauty guru, so me.
Yes, make it accessible for us regular folk.
That's right. Well, and as you can see, I've got like a whoops here. I have a place where it like came down too low on my lid. And often with makeup, you just got to go back and put stuff on top, and that's okay. Like, that's what's great about makeup, is that you can fix your oopses, and even if you oops hard, nothing is permanent. It's not a tattoo. So you can just be like, oh, that was a crap look. I'm going to wipe this part off, or wipe your whole face off if you have to, God forbid, and do it over. So, what are we doing next? We've got some eyeliners we've talked about. Brows. Okay, I'm going to tell you about brows because that's not something I ever do. I never do my brows. I guess I'm blessed in that I have enough brow and not too much. But I've always felt like I had too much. So now that everybody's all big about the bushy brows, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm fine. Some waterproof brows are Anastasia Dip Brow. She's actually marketed as being waterproof, as well as the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Waterproof Eyebrow Gel and the NYX Eyebrow Gel are some brow options for those of you who do your brow.
Alicia says
We have
brows are her favorite.
See? Everybody's
AJ
so
always
different.
does brown, and AJ always does brows, and AJ loves the NYX Fluff and Fill.
Ooh. Is that waterproof also?
Waiting to hear back from AJ on that. Hillary's considering tattoo makeup. Yeah, that's becoming more popular these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've thought about doing eyeliner and lipstick for tattoo. But I'm scared to tattoo my eyes. Because that skin is so thin, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm using the NYX Hot Pot in red to sort of cover up that oops that I made earlier. And I'm going down into the inner corner since we used a little black to put on the outside. Looking very vampy. Wow. Here will be your next choice, you guys. Do you want me to do a nude lip with this dark bold eye, or shall we go black and red? Something very bold.
I'm voting for bold as we wait for everyone else. AJ's checking on whether or not that pencil is, or the brow gel, the brow product is waterproof. AJ says bold. Alicia says bold. Mally says bold. We're here to be bold. Let's be bold.
Yes.
Hillary says bold, bold, bold. Okay. That probably was like
She says bold and bold.
Yes, bold and bold, right. I was okay, I conveyed it accurately.
Oh yes. That was beautiful.
I feel like I should have gone deeper. Bold, bold, bold. Go boldly where no siren makeup has ever gone before. Yeah. All right, we've got more for bold. Vicky says bold. B says bold. Amanda says bold. This is our first uncontested makeup debate.
Right?
We are here to be bold.
As Mrs. Slocum would say in Are You Being Served, for anybody who's a fan of British TV. And we are unanimous in that.
I like it. I will have never seen the show, but will probably be using that phrase.
It's a wonderful show from the 60s and 70s, British. It's all about a storefront and all these clerks in the store selling to people at a store called Grace Brothers. It was a big department store with multiple floors, and they had different departments. And the men's and women's stores were put on the same floor. So it's the men's department and the women's department and how they deal with each other. It's pretty cute.
Oh, fun. AJ has gotten back to us and says that the NYX Fluff and Fill is not waterproof.
Okay. Okay.
And Grace's husband enjoyed being your chauffeur at MerMagicCon.
Oh, I was so grateful to them. They really helped me around from the hotel to the pool and back. So we talked about the Makeup Forever Aqua Seal, which is a mix-in. Ben Nye Final Seal is also something that, just like the Aqua Seal, you can use to mix in with a pigment or an eyeshadow to help make it waterproof. So that's one thing that we didn't discuss. And there's Mehron, Mehron barrier spray, and that comes in a little clear spray tube. see if I have some. So yeah, it comes in something like this. This is the Ben Nye Final Seal. And the barrier spray you can spray underneath your makeup as well as on top of your makeup to help seal it. A lot of movies and special effects places use that. The Maron, the Final Seal, and the Aqua Seal are all things that you can mix in with your eyeshadow to make something more waterproof. And also more pigmented. If you have a shadow that's being a little dorky and not showing up the way you'd like, you can totally use one of those to help boost the pigment.
Alicia lives in Orlando and says Disney princesses use this. So your princess approved.
Yes. You the Final Seal?
We're waiting for Alicia to clarify. And Vicky says you and Mrs. Slocum can go home and stroke your kitties.
Yes! She knows the show. I love it.
I was about to say, which is totally an inside joke. I hope I translated well. Yes, Disney princesses use the Final Seal.
Nice. So what I just did just now is I took a little bit of that liquid silver shadow by Hard Candy and put it in the inner corner and toward the center, but not all the way in. I don't want to cover up the red. I just want to brighten a little bit. And you don't want it to dry before you blend it because then it will get pilly. So you blend real quick while it's drying. And that becomes a nice inner corner highlight. Sparkly. So next, that actually comes, it's a beautiful segue, thank you, Shay, into our next thing. I'm curious who uses glitter. Because we have some mermaids who are so super against any kind of glitter. They just hate it. They rail against it. How dare you as a mermaid? It's anti-environment. Oh my God, it's so terrible. And others, they don't mind. So what are y'all's stances on glitter?
Personally, as like I've learned more about the environmental impact of glitter, like I've stopped buying it, but I have a lot around. You know, I have a burlesque background and we love a good glitter lip. So I'm kind of like easing off of glitter, if that makes sense.
It
I
does.
also have people who point out like there's so many other horrible things we do for the environment. Is glitter really the hill to die on? Alicia says of biodegradable glitter. I've recently learned, Alicia, that biodegradable glitter is not as environmentally friendly as it sounds.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know, like off the top of my head, AJ loves glitter. B says glitter is bad for the ocean. Mermaid Lila is like the environmental mermaid expert. Amanda uses glitter most of the time. So Lila, I forget exactly why the biodegradable glitter is not as good. Hillary tries not to use glitter because of the environment, but has a glitter shadow she adores and will make the exception if she's out of water. Yeah, I definitely won't use it like in water, well, in open water. Alicia like is like, oh no, they got over on me and spent all this extra money on biodegradable glitter and then to find out it's not that great. I'll have to look up like why it's not that great because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, put it in the event because I'm curious too.
Yeah, I think it might be that like they use like natural minerals so they don't really break down. So like maybe little, I forget. But I will say like every now and then I throw fruit into my backyard so it can like biodegrade and then I remember it takes like 5 months. So like sometimes even when things do biodegrade, it's not like as quick as we think.
That's a point. Like bodies are biodegradable doesn't mean you want them in your yard.
Right. Or you want your dog to eat it. Okay. Yeah, Vicky makes lots of good points. Glitter is good when you're not in the water. I wear it on land and clean it off with cold cream. It isn't just glitter. Many pigments are toxic. sealing makeup for water seems key to being biodegradable
Responsible.
glitter. And AJ is asking the $1,000,000 question, do you like glitter?
So because of the belly dance background, I am a huge fan of glitter. And recently I have gotten into biodegradable glitter, thinking that that was the answer. And just like you, Shay, I have a bunch of glitter. Like 2 years ago, I found out about a place called bulkglitters.com. And I spent $20 because they were $1 a piece on a whole tray of glitters. And they're a wonderful source for that. But they also came out with bio glitters. So since then, I've stopped buying regular glitters from them and started using their bio glitter, thinking that was so much better. That's why I'm curious about whether or not that's any better, because I love the idea of still being able to sparkle but not hurt the environment.
Right.
And I have some glitter fixative options for us to talk about since we're at that point. So NYX obviously has a wonderful, NYX just like really seems to be conscious about the whole waterproof thing. NYX has a wonderful glitter fixative, which is a great option. This is not super waterproof though. It's great for the day, that will help your makeup stay, but it is not touted as being waterproof. Some people use lash adhesive to fix glitter. So we've got things like this, the Envy 16-hour eyelash adhesive, if you want to do it that way. Duo makes a waterproof clear adhesive. We got one of those for those who do lashes. And this I bought specifically because of this workshop and heard it was wonderful for waterproofing. The Lash Grip, the Ardell Lash Grip for strip lashes. So this is, again, just another tube of stuff that you can use for lashes, but you can also use for glitter and affixing. They do make a dark, so if you want to put it over your lashes when you've got falsies on, or for your falsie glue, they make a black version so it doesn't stick out as much if you want that as an option. But if you're doing gems, you might prefer doing something like this, which is clear. For face gems and other things, since we're talking adhesives, a lot of mermaids swear by spirit gum. And yes, this is a relatively new bottle. It just looks murky and gross like this. That's just what spirit gum looks like. This is by Ben Nye. And the brand does make some difference. Like, you can get the stuff at Spencer's or whatever, and it'll work. But you want to get the good stuff if you can. I got this from Amazon. If you're talking face jewels, I do not recommend this near your eyes, but for forehead, it's doable. For cheeks, it's doable. Out here, you're all right. I learned that you can use, for water, nail glue, and it sounds scary and intense, and the smell is definitely intense. But just like anything, the water eats at spirit gum. So sometimes I hear mermaids love spirit gum for keeping jewels and stuff on, keeping glitter and stuff on. But for me, after a while, spirit gum lets go. I don't know if that's because I have combination skin. I don't know what it is. But for me, this stuff, the nail glue, you dot it on and it's ready to go the second. So there's no like fidget time. At least with spirit gum, there's some fidget time. This, you need to know exactly where you're putting it, because when it's down, it's down. But this is good for face jewels in the water that won't come up. And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about when it comes to face jewels, I brought some options. So this I got out of the craft section at a Walmart, but you can use stationery sections, all kinds of stuff. This is like one of those little stationery, it's not a sticker, it's just a jewel that you would put on like a scrapbook. That's the word I'm looking for, scrapbooking jewel. And they come in all different shapes and sizes. This is something that I got from Michaels, and it's hardcore metal. So if you like, face adornments, This is full on metal, doesn't bend. It's like a piece of jewelry. And you can put some spirit gum or some nail glue and have it where you want it. In the way of fixatives as well, there's stuff like Prozaid. But Prozaid, okay, so this is another thing I'm curious about for you mermaids. I've heard, oh, you know, yeah, you can use Prozaid. That's great for water. But I've heard from industry leaders and read on the website that it's a water-based adhesive. So it's not meant for being waterproof. It's hella stick-on for long wear, but it's actually not meant to be used in the water. What have you mermaids found? And while you write that, we're going to go back to glitter briefly. So another company that's really good for making glitter stay, if you're going to be in the water, Lit Cosmetics makes little pots of glitter like this. I wrote to them and told them, hi, I'm a mermaid. I'm buying some of your things. I just want to let you know that I'm really excited about using your stuff, because they are the only company that I have found that makes major glitter adhesive that's supposed to be waterproof. So this is their glitter adhesive. It comes in little tiny pots like this, or slightly bigger ones. They're very luxurious, lots of glass. And it's tiny because you don't need a lot. So this is their regular one, and this is their regular, more intense one. So they're 3 levels. They have a glitter adhesive, which is like, fine, whatever. This is like for your festival day when you're going to have glitter on your face from 10 a.m. till 1 in the morning, and you want your glitter to stay all day. Good for some water exposure. This is what they call their forever wear. This is hardcore waterproof glitter fixative. This is marketed as being waterproof, super stay. Good stuff. If I'm going to be in the ocean, I try not to wear glitter, but if I'm going to be in pools, I'm not afraid of using something like the Forever Wear and putting that on, because I know that I'm using adhesive that's good enough that a bunch of junk won't get into the water. And lastly, when it comes to glitter, please don't use craft glitter on your eyes. For anybody who's new and is thinking about getting into glitter, you always want cosmetic glitter on your face, at least on your eyes. If you choose to, be risky and put craft glitter on your cheeks, then that's your choice. But if you're doing anything with your eyes, please, please, please don't put craft glitter on your eyeballs, because that's made of metals with sharp edges and can actually cut your corneas. Cosmetic glitter is a polymer, is a plastic, or in the eco glitter, it's like a plant-based polymer. So it is made with rounder edges, will not cut you if it gets in your eyes. This is my go-to for glitter. This is by North Star Cosmetics. And as you can see, it has been used with love at various festivals, because it is it's filthy. I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. It's filthy.
It's sparkly.
And it comes in a bunch of different colors, and I have found that lately, especially with pressed glitters becoming more of a thing, just because it's called pressed glitter doesn't mean it's good pressed glitter. So like Hot Topic's got pressed glitter in these multiple colored tube things. No, they're patchy. They don't stay on. It's basically just hair gel with glitter in it. Same with, what I would wonder about the unicorn snot. Has anybody used that and found it actually is good for the water? I wonder if it's just hair gel and as a base.
Says it lasts. It says 8, but I'm guessing she means 80 minutes in the water.
Okay, very cool. This stuff, the reason why I glommed onto it so much is because it's marketed as being waterproof. And I have found that this stuff stays beautifully, and it's without you don't need a glitter fixative. You just smear this stuff on, and you'll see I'm about to put it on, and you're golden for whatever glitter. I'm going to use the red today because I'll be doing Siren. But they have gone out of business, so I'm going to set a call out to you guys. If you, in your travels, find other waterproof pressed glitters, dude, let us know.
Yes, Vicky's confirmed that the unicorns not last 80 minutes in the water.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's going on beautifully, Aloria.
I love it. It goes on well. Let's see if I'll show you on my finger here. You smear your finger around, and I mean, it's like color, 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 wow. Shine. Maybe if we all inundate North Star Glitter's page enough, be like, come back, we love you, the mermaids need you. Also, glitter is a saving grace if you have found that your eye makeup is not the way you wanted it to, or you've goofed or whatever. Like, glitter covers all sins. It's straight up, it does. And it comes in a bunch of, they've got like blues, blacks, golds, silvers, greens. If you can think of it, they've got it. And sometimes they have mixes, like this middle one is a mix of blue and silver. I'm curious, have you guys heard about the Cleof palette? That's one that I thought about buying for this workshop. Cleof palette on Amazon. That's supposed to be a waterproof pressed glitter. Boy, that's a mouthful. Waterproof pressed glitter. Little
tongue exercise.
Right? Oh. And what I'm going to do is I'm putting the red on over some of the shadow. And then I'm going to put a little silver right in the very inner corner and transition that out. Trying not to cover up too much of the work I did on the outer corner. And that is one con about this stuff. It stays where you put it. So if you accidentally whoops and get it on your brow bone, say, or, get it on your nose, it's going to be a bit of a booger to get off because it stays where you put it, which is both a blessing and a curse. Let's talk about mascara, because let's, try to wrap up a little bit. Some of the mascaras that I have and I use, everybody's got their own favorite mascaras for, like, some people like it natural, some people like it liquidy, some people like it a little thicker or drier. I don't mind my lashes being a little clumpy because that's, again, like the dramatic look. You get the more drama. So I use the L'Oreal Butterfly Sculpting Mascara in the waterproof, and I have for years. It's great stuff. It lengthens and volumizes, is a little clumpy, and is not super wet. It's kind of a dryish, a little drier than I actually like. I like the formula also better than I like the brush. The brush has been kind of pokey lately in the last few I've bought, but I still keep buying it because I really like the formula. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Fiber Mascara, which if you like fiber lashes, that's also an option. Oh, and the reason why I mentioned the pressed glitter is not only because it's an option and it's waterproof, but if you don't want to have to worry about carrying another product in your bag, so like worrying about the adhesive, worrying about having it be tacky, waiting until it gets to that stage and then putting on your glitter, it's a quicker option with less stuff.
That makes sense. Hillary wants to know how you feel about mascara primer.
It's good for specific things. So I use it. I have I'd like to say I have decent-ish lashes. So I don't need a ton of extra help when it comes to volume and length. But I use it for when I'm doing my Arctic mermaid and I want white lashes, so it's often white. You can also get clear, but I use the white ones and use that to help blot out the lashes, and then I put a white mascara on over that. It depends on what you're looking for, regardless of the color, whether it's black, clear, white. It helps volumize, so if you need that, it's good. Some are good with helping for length, which is good, but it can also make putting on your actual mascara once it dries more difficult. Just like when you try to put on a layer of mascara, let it dry, and then try to go in for a second coat, like your lashes are already chunky and crispy, so it's hard to build up. But others are fine. It just depends on what kind of formula you like and um, whether or not I find that primers also make your lashes really kind of clumpy, really kind of chunky. So whenever I do my white look, it's pretty clumpy. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you want something wispy, maybe not necessary unless you really need help with volume.
Alicia says she has invisible lashes, and Dior has a primer that's great. It's expensive, but it's great. And
Nice.
she's also used a Sephora primer.
CoverGirl also has a good lash primer as well. That's the one I use for the white, but they also make it in black and clear for various brands. So it depends on if you want color, if you're just looking for volume, etc. Let's see. Another one that a lot of people like if you want waterproof lashes that look more natural is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Waterproof. It's supposed to be really, really good. A lot of people really enjoy that. One that I really like that I need to find out about the waterproof version is the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. The dryland version of that is quite good. If anybody has used the waterproof of that, let us know. But like we talked about earlier, waterproof mascaras are pretty common because, people know that you're going to want to go out in the rain or cry or whatever. So waterproof mascaras aren't too hard to find. So as for lips, I know I haven't done my liner yet. One thing I will say about that before I go into lips, talking about that, is usually you want to put on your liquid liner or your pencil liner before you do sparkle, before you do any glitter, because it's harder for the stuff to go over. If it's really good, like the NYX works really well even over glitter. But usually you want to put on any of that before you put on your glitter because the glitter creates texture that then your eyeliner has to go over, if that makes sense. But then sometimes you cover your eyeliner with the glitter, so you have to go over it. It's, sometimes you have to do stuff in layers with makeup. When it comes to lashes, for those who do fake lashes, I don't. But just about any lash with a dark band that's relatively thin is going to be good for hiding, but you want to make sure you use those like dark glue, duo glue, Ardell Lash Grip, major waterproof hold glues. Another lash glue that I've read about that's being really, really good is the Magic Lash Adhesive. Have you guys ever heard about that? I just ordered some from Camera Ready Cosmetics, and it's not here yet. I was hoping it was going to be here by tonight, but it's not here yet. So that's supposed to be amazing stuff and waterproof. Have any of y'all used it? Oh, and another main first face primer before anything, just to prime your face. Some people say that you can use straight up pure glycerin. I don't know how I feel about that. Glycerin usually is super emollient, which means it attracts water, so I'm not sure about my take on that. And before I put on my eyeliner and mascara, let's talk about cleansers. We had AJ talk about cleansers, yeah? We had some people curious about what in the world to take off all of this bulletproof stuff. So we can mention that now. So the Elemis Makeup Cleansing Balm is pretty good. It looks like a little tub of almost like a Vaseline that's supposed to be quite good for taking off your makeup. I've got two options here for micellar water. I'm going to drop it too. We've got micellar water. There's one by Garnier that's very affordable. Has a little container like this. And micellar water, I believe, is just basically oil mixed with water so that it takes off your makeup. I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure what this is chemically, but everyone says it's pretty gentle and it's great for taking off all kinds of makeup. Micellar water in general, not just that brand. And thanks to BoxyCharm, I just got this. Don't mind the foaminess. I just dropped it, so it's bubbly. But this is the Tarte Micellar Water. So you've got high end and low end. And what I love about this, look at the delivery system. You push on this little pumpy-doo, and out from the rubbery center right there, your stoof shoots up like a little fountain, and it has the micellar water in that little cup so that you can then use to clear off your makeup.
That's super cool. AJ says thank you.
You're welcome, AJ. And for sensitive skin, let's see, I wanted to look up stuff specifically for different types of skin. So the best oil-free makeup remover, and I can totally speak to this, the Neutrogena oil-free eye makeup remover is a classic. That was the one I used quite regularly until I ran out. I would happily rebuy it. I love it. Best waterproof makeup remover is the Cetaphil liquid makeup remover. Best oil-based liquid eye makeup remover is the Kiehl's Midnight Recovery Botanical Cleansing Oil. For those of you guys who like oil, I don't. I hate the feeling of it on my skin. Can't handle oil. I'm like, don't touch me. Get it off. Get me the lye and the SOS pads. Get it off. The best makeup cleansing balm is that Elemis that we talked about. And another classic that has been used for many, many years, Pond's Cold Cream, is good for all theater makeup, waterproof makeup. It's very good as a cleanser. I've never used it myself, but I've heard so many people talk about how great that stuff is. What about you, mermaids? What have you heard as or used as a good cleanser?
I like using coconut oil to remove, or any oil really, just because I know like it's just really efficient at getting things off. But then it's like, how do I get all this oil off my face? So it's like the oil's awesome to get all the makeup off. But then I always struggle to like feel like I've got a good cleanse after that. Hillary likes the Mary Kay eye makeup remover.
Ooh, nice. We have anybody out there who likes Avon? People crack on that brand for, the pyramid scheme stuff pretty hard, but I've heard that there's some great Avon products for cleansing.
Mally uses the Micellar Water and sensitive makeup removal wipes.
Oh, nice. I think Neutrogena also has a good micellar water and a sensitive skin makeup remover as well. So let's talk quickly about, I can do the rest of my makeup elsewhere and then just show you guys the final product in the event so that we're not here all night. It's about 7:30, so we've been here for about an hour. We talked about the milk of magnesia. We talked about lashes and lash adhesive. Lippies. We're missing lippies, eh?
Yes.
All
And
right.
Kelly is very excited as to what kind of lip you're going to do to match that bold eye.
All right, we got lip bases, cleansers. Going through my list. Like, seriously, when I put up this list, you guys, you will see this is a massive scrolly list. There's so many products I was so excited to be able to bring to you guys. So some lipsticks that both I enjoy and I researched to find out to be pretty good. Milani Amore Matte Liquid Lip Cream, which is one that I have putting stuff away. I like them also because they're distinctive in feel. They come in these square tubes that are nice and easy to spot. Here we go. So this is a Milani Amore Matte Lip Cream. These things are amazing. They stay on really, really well in the water. The Maybelline 24-Hour Super Stay is also really good in the water. This guy I found is practically like a tattoo. This is the Queen QVEEN liquid lipstick. Is another really good one. The NYX Liquid Suede lipstick line is quite good. Here's an example of one of those. This is in one of their liquid metallic coppers. And you can get these in the drugstore now. They are in Walgreens at this point, so you don't have to go to like Ulta if you don't want to, if you don't have the ability. And that's again the NYX Liquid Suede. Again, we've got that Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm stain that you can use for both your cheeks and your eyes. And I have found two other things that I really like. So this guy, the True Matte Liquid Lipstick, is from my local Mid-K by a brand named Nokak. I don't know if it's Korean or something, but this stuff stays beautifully on and it's hardcore. It stays where you put it. Another one that's really good, and another props to Juvia's Place, is their new liquid lipsticks. Look at that packaging. Their packages are so beautiful, and it's a Black-owned brand. So, like, they really paid beautiful tribute to all of these African tribes that they've studied and researched and illustrated. Their palettes come with illustrations like this too, and I always keep the packaging because they're just as beautiful to look at as they are just as makeup. So this is their liquid lipstick. This stuff is amazing. Those other things are great in general, but this stuff as a liquid lipstick is weightless. You barely feel it. It's so light and it doesn't dry. This is amazing stuff. And that's the Juvia's Place. And it's often on sale. I found that they have scads of sales. So even though they're technically not a drugstore brand, if you get on their mailing list, they are constantly having sales. Those are guys I've already mentioned. Another alternative, if you don't have access to fancy various makeup, is using eye stuff on your lips. Some Jeffree Cosmetics lipsticks are good for the eyes. Same thing. If you need an eyeliner, if you want black lipstick but you don't have black lipstick, you can use an eyeliner. You can... I brought out this little pot. This is from Pretty Vulgar. It's one of those pot eyeliners, and look how cute. It looks like a little old-fashioned dip ink. And there's a gel eyeliner in there. You can use that as a lippy if you don't have access to funky colors. or certain makeup. Another option for affordable, it's not necessarily drugstore because it's not in drugstores, but the pricing is right. ColourPop has really fun colors. This is their black lippy called Friday. And this is the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour color.
I use that one.
So Shay, you can agree, this is like the OG liquid lipstick. This was around in like 2004 or something. Everybody's been going crazy the last 5 or so years about, oh, liquid lipstick, it's this new wonderful thing. And I'm like, did y'all ever hear of this? This has been around forever. I love that stuff. This is another one from Mid-K. This is a Beauty Bargain $1.99 bulletproof liquid lipstick. So my plan was to use the ColourPop Friday, ombre it with the red.
Ooh.
And we had somebody asking about scales, so maybe I should do that now, and I'll just tell you about the lips later. So when it comes to these babies, here's another choice that I'm going to give you guys. We'll do color choices. So this is a wig cap. It's got a hole in here for your hair to come up out the top or just to get access to your hair. And we're going to put it over your head. You got your ponytail. You want to stretch it out before you put it down on your face because you don't want to smear all the makeup that you just did. You look like a bank robber.
Specifically like the hungry bank robber on the Snickers commercial who robs the bank in the
Exactly.
And everybody knows who he is.
Exactly. You're not yourself, Joe. Are you hungry? So before you do anything, you want to look at your alignment and see if everything is kind of where you want it to be. Sometimes when you put it down on your face, it's bunched up in certain areas or way pulled out in others. So you want to make sure it's where you want it before you ever put on any color. There we go. Aligning my diamonds down the middle of my nose so that they're not all pattywampus. And so we've used black and red on the eyes. What do you guys want to do for scales? Shall we do black and red, black and silver, or just one of those colors? Just black, just red. I can show you how to do ombre, or we can do straight up one color. I'm inclined. I've done black and red before in previous makeups, but they've been a long time ago. So we can do anything you guys want to do. Black and red, black and silver, or just black, just red, or just silver.
Hillary says gold. AJ says black and silver. See if anybody else has an opinion. I'm voting yes. That's my vote.
All the things.
Mally says ombre.
Rock.
Amanda says black and silver.
Okay, we seem to have a consensus of black at least being one color. So we're going to start off with that. And what I'm going to do is put it around my forehead toward the hairline. And one thing that a lot of people, I hear people say, oh God, I tried that whole scale thing, but my scales looked all smeared and messed up. And the key I have found to that, and it's on a lot of tutorials and stuff. So if you can't remember what I say here, you can always go look online. Is you want to blot or pounce, you don't want to drag. If you drag, you mess up your netting placement. So you want it as up and down pouncy as possible. You know what? I even find that sometimes the bristles of the bristles of the brush can move it. So when I'm doing this, I just use my phalanges. And if you have a certain face shape where you feel like you need help, like, wow, you know, I wish my forehead wasn't as wide, or wow, my cheeks are wider than I'd like them to be, or even if you're not, you know, in that self-deprecating type of mood, maybe you want to make your cheeks extra severe for a siren look, or maybe you want to make your forehead extra broad for a Renaissance type of look. This is a great opportunity to sculpt your features. And I'm just going to lean forward here so you can see. Just pat it down. You don't want to rub, because again, that moves your netting. And you just pat, 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 pat. And you do, again, you want to get it into your hairline. Because it looks all kinds of weird when it's got that nickied patch. Like Shay said, it makes you look like you got a mask on. You want to look at it from different angles. Make sure you're not patchy in one place or another. Pat straight up and down. And that's really all there is to it. And I like to bring it, start doing the ombre even before I put the other color on, because that just seems to look better and help the blend. So even if I'm going to put on another color, do you guys see how I've got it a little gradient already instead of one harsh line? This goes great with my brown roots.
Just blend it all in there.
That's right, just blend it in. What is y'all's favorite mermaid look in general? Do you like the greens and blues, kind of the natural color palette? Do you like more of the earth tones, the without all a bunch of color?
I really enjoy a high glam aesthetic. I like loud, vibrant colors. And AJ is confirming that you're using black eyeshadow to do this?
Yes, I am using the L'Oreal Infallible. This particular one is naturally a little sparkly, but it's also very, very rich and dark. You have to be careful with whatever, if you're using a black shadow, whether it's on your eyes or on your head, in whatever, that you get the quality of black tone that you're looking for. Some are not as dark as maybe you want them to be, so you get like a charcoal instead of a true black. Sometimes it's black, but it's like a purpley gray or a greeny black. So if you have a chance, test it out, play with it a little before you either buy it or put it on your melon.
That makes sense.
This is very, very black, but it's also sparkly. So if you want a matte black, this might not be the choice that you want to go with. And I'm trying to show you here. Yeah, you just tap.
Tapping makes so much sense.
Have you tried these before, Shay?
I've had it done to me. I haven't done it. It's funny because I have lots of old fishnets laying around.
Do you do the goth thing where if a pair of stockings don't fit you, you make them into arm covers?
I've never done that.
That's a modus operandi for me. I'm like, wow, these tights are way too small, but guess what? They will fit. So I'm just pouncing back and forth and seeing any places that might need a little comparing from side to side. I am really bad with being like, oh, I'm done, and then not realizing that I totally had a place that needed it on the other side of the face.
Just take your pictures in profile. It's fine. AJ and Hillary both like greens and blues, but Hillary also enjoys an au naturel look.
I love the natural look. I enjoy it on others, but I find reflexively don't do that on myself. It's not that I don't love it. I just don't tend to do it for some weird reason. So here's a perfect example of like making sure it's even. I had spots here and here that were kind of nakey. So you just want to pat, perfect example right there. That's a little lighter, a little strange looking. So you just want to even things out, but still pat. You still don't want to drag. So what was our winner? Are we doing black and silver or black and red?
Black and silver, I believe. Red didn't even make it. We've got ombre. Yep. Black and silver, ombre, and then a gold. But yeah, silver is our winner.
Right. I would do gold if I was doing more of the steampunk look. Hillary was voting for the steampunk look, so I see why that was her. So yeah, looking pretty even. I'm gonna have to buy a new eyeshadow pot because I can see you guys through the bottom of my my eyeshadow. Hashtag need more shadow. I keep seeing YouTubers that have, you know, people just sending them makeup, and I'm like, dude, where do I sign up for a makeup sugar daddy? And something I've always liked doing on myself, but of course no one needs to do it, but especially when I'm doing it as a doing my makeup as a siren, I put a little widow's peak, or sometimes a large widow's peak, on myself. That's my mother has one naturally. I have a small one naturally. So I kind of like that face shape of doing like the little Freddy Munster.
Vicky says steampunk rocks.
Yes, it does. It's so good.
It really is.
Maybe that should be the theme to our next crafternoon is make something steampunk.
Ooh, that could be fun.
All right, so we've got our black down. Now we have an option for the next. Oh no, we're not doing red. I thought we were doing red for some reason. You can choose to make your scales matte or sparkly. So if I was doing the red, I would have the choice of doing either, say, the NYX Hot Pot or the Love Plus by Sugar Pill, or I could take the glitter palette that I just had. Here we go. And I could pat glitter on and make that sparkly. So when you're doing your scales, you can also think of the finish that you're looking for. And some people I've seen when they do their makeup even do like a once this is off, they'll take and highlight. So you can take that white, say LA Splash, and highlight the bottoms of the scales to make it look like it's even sticking up off of the skin even more. I would love to do that, but I don't seem to have the patience.
I can't imagine doing that.
And if you do that, you want to highlight the colored part that you've just dabbed on after you've taken off the net, not your skin bit. You're coloring the bottom of the scale that looks like it's lifting up off of your skin rather than the skin itself. If that helps. All right, so what are we doing for silver? Ooh, okay. So we're gonna take, what is y'all's favorite silver? Do you have a favorite super shiny mega silver?
I feel like AJ might have posted something silver before. Way up in the comments. Oh, it was AJ posted about a metallic liquid lipstick by CY.
Oh, here's another option.
Oh, Hillary's wondering how you lift the scales.
Okay, so once we're done with that, we'll get to that in a second. But when you lift You want to put your hands underneath, whether you stop your cap at your cheeks or underneath like I have. You want to lift, I'm not going to do it yet because I'm going to mess up the work I'm about to do. You lift it out away from the face and slowly work out and up. So you come out and off the scales and you don't drag against them.
And I think she's also asking about the lifting, kind of lifting the illusion of lifting the scales with the highlighter, or the that you were describing.
Mm-hmm. You mean like how that's done?
I believe that's the question. Yes, Hillary says yes.
So you just use, here I can use an example on the back of my hand. So this is a glitter, pressed glitter from Who Is She Cosmetics. They changed their name to Clean Slate Cosmetics. And we'll take a scrape of this. Oh, it's under my nail. No like. And use that as an example. So this is a wonderful pressed glitter brand. It's a little chunky, but it'll serve for us right now. It's old, so it's been in the pot for ever and ever, and I should probably throw it away, but I don't have the heart to because it was not cheap. That is something else that usually you guys might find it is awesome to support indie brands, but because they are not working with a giant company who is sponsoring them, usually indie stuff is more expensive because they're working straight from straight up costs. There's nobody cushioning the prices like there is for, say, Makeup Revolution or Revlon. So what you want to do once you've got your color down, we'll pretend that this is a scale here. Trying to smear it into a V shape for you to sort of make it a little clearer. So say that this is your, let's see if you can see me here. This is your scale. You would take your chosen lifter, your chosen highlight, and just do a little V at the bottom of that scale. You do it better than I'm doing it right now because this is kind of slapdash and crappy, but it'll get the point across. So you put your highlight in a little V under the bottom of the color, like that.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
So you would do that individually on each little scale.
And then you blend it. And sometimes you have to put some of the color back on. But if you don't blend it, it'll look like it's just sitting. But once you blend it, but you have to do that for every single scale. And I don't have the time for that. Other people might, but I do not. But also, it's a vision thing. Like, seeing every little thing that's way up here on my forehead is difficult for me. That's another reason why I won't do it. So I'm going to use this Makeup Revolution liquid highlight. Here we go with repurposing product. I'm going to take my ring finger. Try to wipe off some of the black shadow on my black pants. And just dab it in. And if you need to blend it, use that clean finger. And that'll be the start to the silver. And I like blending a light over a dark because if I've gone too far with the dark, this is a great way to make it come back from that a little bit. You're like, oh God, I went too dark too far. And I will warn you, scales can be a process, especially if you're a Virgo like me, or just really into detail. Because if you want that ombre to be perfect, sometimes it takes going back and forth. And you end up with hands that look like this. Ever so sexy. But that's if you do it with your hands. Some people do brush, and that's cool. Again, I like doing it by hand, A, because I feel like it gives me a little bit more control, B, because it seems to move the netting a little bit less, and D, because I can feel where everything is going. I wish I had more of my North Star Cosmetics silver, but I do not.
AJ is a Virgo with you and understands.
I have always joked I am the anti-Virgo, but I still have my moments. Do we have any other questions while I'm going to sit here and tap out this?
Let me go and scroll and see if I missed anything. Oh, B is wondering if you have a tropical mermaid look.
Oh, I have what I kind of joke is like a standard mermaid look, which is like the tropical blues and greens. So kind of, I guess. But nothing like with true parrot colors, no like crazy greens or anything, no yellows.
Gotcha.
Not because I don't enjoy it on other people, but A, yellow looks horrible on me. And green is just generally not my thing, but I will wear it with like greens and blues and watercolor. So I'm gonna take that silver liquid color that we saw before. There's our copper. There's our Milani. Haha, there's our silver. So I'm going to use this liquid silver after I've cleaned off my fingers a little bit. And I'm just going to dab this on to make a more pronounced silver. Now that we've got a gray. Oh, we haven't talked setting sprays. So one thing that I know is like pretty classic. Everybody knows Urban Decay All Nighter is like great for underwater, yeah?
We know now.
That is a big favorite for a lot of performers and mermaids, is Urban Decay All Nighter.
AJ is asking if you're going to put scales on your cheeks too tonight, and I am actively going to discourage that because it is after 11 on the East Coast.
Yes. So
But
I will do that.
I was about to say, like, afterwards and posted pictures.
Yeah, for photographs and stuff, definitely. So we're just going to go real quick to finish this little bit here. And the one thing with when it comes to scales is that you want to get done what you've got, what you get done now. Basically, there's no going back. Once you lift that net, it is really going to be hard to put the net back down exactly where you had it. If you want sort of a stacked look, then
I just said true story. Like, that's not necessarily something I would have thought of, but yeah, that makes sense.
If you want like a staggered look, maybe something that looks kind of digitized, maybe you're like a digital mermaid or something, totes do that. But it is, yeah, really hard to stagger that back. And a lot of my products I'm finding I'm going to need to buy new of because dang. Other setting sprays that are really, really good are the Milani Prime, Prep, and Set, which I have some of. Another is the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. This stuff is $6. That stuff is great. Urban Decay is about $30. So it is not cheap, but it is also lauded as being waterproof and mega. This is the Milani Make It Last 16-hour setting spray. There are two different versions of the Make It Last. There's the natural or regular finish, and then there is the charcoal. This has charcoal in it for oil absorbing. If you're particularly oily, this is a good selection for you. What you do not want with the Milani setting sprays is the Make It Dewy. That is not for prolonging your wear. Then you can also use things like what we talked about earlier, the Ben Nye Final Seal, the Makeup Forever Aqua Seal. All those are things that you can use to spray your look after you're done.
Hillary wants to know if you know of any good coral shadows or lipsticks.
Coral shadows. Well, coral is kind of like the color of the year, so way to be on it in fashion. You've got kind of a corally shade here in the main squeeze palette. This little guy right here. By ColourPop. There's a Strawberry Milkshake ColourPop palette as well that I do not own, but I hear good things about as well.
Do I have a craving now just because you said that?
Oh, and one final thought on foundation is that Ben Nye's cream colors, some people use. I'm not a fan of them because they're a little heavy for my taste and because I don't like that oily, greasy feel. But my friend Orchid, who is 65 and a performing mermaid, she swears by these as being water resistant. So these are the Ben Nye cream foundation colors. These are very well known for theater makeup. So you would put these on with like the little triangle sponge way back in the day. I'm looking for a better silver. I've just realized that I did not prep myself for having a very good, haha, here we go. So another good thing, if you are lacking a shadow in the shade that you want, highlighter to the rescue. So I'm going to take some of this Wet and Wild Fire and Ice. This is the ice shade. I'm going to brighten up this little bit, and then we will take this off and be done. I'm sure Shay is like, I want to go to bed.
No, I'm quite intrigued with everything you're doing. This is awesome. Thank you so much for helping us elevate our mermaid makeup skill set.
I'm just grateful that there's something I can offer the community. Especially as a person with a disability, you often feel like you're like asking people to do stuff for you all the time. Drive me here, reach me that. What's this word? I can't see this. So it's really nice to have something to just offer people and be able to give a little back. So that's really rad.
AJ says, thank you. Loved it.
Thank you, AJ. So if I had more time, what I would be inclined to do naturally is to add some glitter on here. But I am out of silver glitter in the pressed glitter, and I don't want to worry about that kind of time. So we're just going to use that highlighter. And again, you want to smooth it out now, because if you try to blend, once your net is up, you're going to mess up your netting, your fish scales. So you got to handle any blending before you take off the mesh. Otherwise, you lose your net. You lose your scales. You can also do things like instead of using highlighter on your cheeks before the mesh goes on, you can put highlighter, here, I'll do it now. Put highlighter after the mesh goes on, and then you have like very subtle scales. You can do this with glitter. You can take your pressed glitter or even your glitter with your adhesive and tap that on and have glitter scales if you don't want like a bunch of color.
It's almost like
Right.
embossed or something. That's cool.
Yeah. And the last thing I'm doing right now is just trying to blend, because again, I'm noticing a harsh line between the silver and the black. And I don't want to look like I'm, you know, wearing a wig. So just take some of that. Usually if you have excess somewhere, you can sort of tap it down and make it migrate. You don't want to, again, you never want to drag, but you can sort of be like, all right, I need a little coverage here, and do that. Here's my black that I've been looking for. I am shocked that the L'Oreal 24-hour powder, the Infallible, actually stays because it is a powder. The Maybelline tattoo ones are sort of a gel or like a cream, but these are straight up powder, and it blows my mind that that will actually stay. But they do.
So Vicky says that she's on the Eastern Standard Time and having fun. Vicky also says, I get the disability thing. B has a learning disability and likes the coloring so far.
Yay. Got this one spot on the crown of my head that is just like, I'm gonna see if I can make her work. Oh, there we go. Starting to blend better. And that is something that I will, if you're new to makeup, it helps you cultivate patience. If you are not patient, like some of these steps, you have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And that can be really frustrating. So if you have less patience, then you might try simpler, more natural looks just because they take less futzing.
Futzing. What a great word.
Right? Yiddish makes everything better. And I'm seeing a better blend here. Might take my brush at this point to get into the little corners of the container. La 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 la. Blendy, blendy, blend. That's much better. And something else to consider if you're doing something like this, any look with scales or anything by your hairline, are you wearing a wig? If you are wearing a wig, you might want to bring things down just a hair so that it can be seen past your wig. If you are not, then no worries. But if you are, I have found that you often have to put your wig, depending on the wig style and the hairstyle of the wig, you often have to put it a little lower than your natural hairline. So if you do all this work and then put a wig on and it's gone, that can be a little frustrating. And if you get frustrated with your makeup, for real, think of Bob Ross. Happy little scales. Just a happy little eyeliner, you know, like it totally, it takes a little of the tension out. Can't be mad at Bob Ross.
No.
I would love to know how many of you guys have gone to Mermagicon? I know Shay has. That's where I met them. That's where I met her. What about y'all? We got other folks. I don't think AJ has. I know Grace did.
And Alicia did.
And Alicia did.
And Hillary did.
So most of us.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about having a makeup workshop there? A quick little hour-long, more a Q&A than less than a demo.
I think that's an awesome idea. AJ has not been to Mermagicon, but would love to go.
Yeah, AJ is out here on the West Coast with me.
Travel buddies. Hillary says
Right?
yes to a makeup class at Mermagicon.
There's so much that happens there that like last year was my first time that I didn't know that we could do stuff. Like I wanted to film TikToks in the pool so bad, but I wasn't sure that was allowed. And then I got home and found out that, of course, a bunch of people are doing TikToks. So it's good to know for this year we can get all done up and go play. All right, you guys. So that is looking pretty complete to me. I sort of blended the black and the silver together. What do you guys think?
That looks, oh wow, that looks really good.
Is there any places that I missed? Any spots that need evening out?
Vicky is in Muncie, Indiana, where Bob Ross was actually painting the happy trees.
Oh, that's amazing.
And Mermagicon is in Manassas, Virginia, which is right outside of DC, functionally. Oh, Joseph came back. Welcome back, Joseph.
Welcome back.
And
now you're being greeted by a monster. Me?
I was just saying, because B said that they wish they had money to go back to Mermagicon, and I was going to say it's not until March of 2021, so maybe you have time to save. It's a really good time.
It is a lot of fun, and there are a lot of good people there, and you don't have to be any one way. I definitely appreciated that Mermagicon is opened to all kinds of mers. We saw fabric tail mers, we saw silicone mers.
Yes, Vicky, come. Yeah, Mermagicon is just a great time. I haven't been to any other mermaid conventions yet, and I'm lucky because Mermagicon is really at the one of my home pools. So for me, I mean, aside from having to pack up all of Society of Fat Mermaids, it's just around the corner, so it's not a huge burden to get there. But nonetheless, it is just such an amazing experience, truly. And I'm gonna write in the comments just Mermagicon mingling group, because that's also a cool community, and you can kind of already like start pre-meeting people.
Mm-hmm. God, that first night at Mermagicon where we all got to meet on Friday night. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. That's a little more what I'm looking for. A little less Eddie Munster. A little less intense on the black. Yeah? Okay. All right. Now we're going to do the reveal. Get this other cheek before I forget. But you know what? If you ever have a place that's spotty on your makeup and you're like, oh no, I forgot a thing before I did this other thing, or oh man, I just realized that X, Y, or Z is wrong with my makeup. Fish's scales are not uniform. Like, so if you forget a spot, just know that like nothing is perfect in nature. It is all good.
I like this theory.
So I want to carefully pull out. Get your hands under there, pull it off of your face and off.
Oh, wow.
Let's see how we did. Oh, yay! They came out really clear. Woohoo!
I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that with the black. That looks really good.
Thank you. Now, what I am inclined to do often, and you'll see in pictures, I'll put pictures up of the final look once we're done here tonight. I'm going to do off camera. I'm going to put one of those big jewels that I showed you in the center of my forehead. I guess it's the belly dancer thing, but I always love having some kind of crown adornment here. So I'm going to put a little jewel like right in the middle there.
Cool.
Plus, you guys, if you ever have a blemish or a mistake in your makeup and you're like, oh my God, I've already cemented it with the setting spray. What do I do? Totally stick a jewel on it. If I've had a blemish that I can't cover no matter how much I try, I'm giving you a trade secret here. Slap one of those little fake rhinestones. No one will ever know.
Brilliant.
Seriously, it just looks like it's part of your thing. And then you know it's covered and you're not all self-conscious about it. Or like if you've messed up, say I have a giant smear here, stick a jewel on it, put a crown over it. Nothing is unsavable. That's one of the great things about makeup.
That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. So you want to finish the rest off camera and then just post pics? Is that what you're leaning towards, or do we get to see your
Do
dramatic
the lip
look?
real quick if anybody wants. Do you guys want to do the lip?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm speaking on behalf
Okay.
of all of us, and yes, we want to see.
Rock on. So I'm gonna put these away out of my way here. Oh, and by the way, if you guys like highlighter, freaking Wet n Wild, they're like $4 or $5. They're amazing highlighters. All the beauty gurus talk about how Wet n Wild highlighters are better than even a lot of high-end ones. So you've got quality and affordable prices, which is really nice. This is another thing that's really awesome. This is it's a not a Wet n Wild, a Who Is She cosmetic product that is both an eye and a lip color. It looks like a liquid lipstick, but it's actually a liquid eyeshadow. So that's an option. Let me get my lippy out. There's the two that I was looking for. One thing I'll say about the Maybelline Super Stay, I freaking love it. And Shay, you were talking about this. Have you noticed that it ever gets pilly after a while?
Maybe
After long wear.
like really long wear, or like if I don't get the timing right between the like wet end and the dry end. Like there's like a magic sweet spot.
Some people like to do lip liner. I kind of feel like that's not necessary with liquid lipstick, but that's just me. Other people really like having that guideline of where to go. And here I'm taking the lippy on the outer edges of my lip and the outer corner most especially. And do it on the other side. And I'm using the ColourPop Friday liquid lipstick. But the other one that I was thinking about using was that Juvia's Place. It is not quite as bulletproof as the Milani. If I were to rate them, the Milani is like the most bulletproof that I've experienced.
I'm sure you'll love to hear this. B says that they love to support other people with disabilities. It means a lot to them. And I know it means a lot to you as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, B. So you'll see here I've just done the outer edges and toward the corners. Now before it dries, I'm going to get this mid-K. I think it was like a Kiss Cosmetics liquid lip. And concentrate it in the center. Try not to touch the edges of that black too much.
Oh, wow.
And then you just rub. Mm. And if you see any spots that need filling in, now is the time to do it while it's still wet. You don't want to futz with liquid lipstick too much after it's dried. They get angry. And it's a little darker than I'd like, so once this dries, I might put a little bit more of the red right in the center. I'm pretty happy. Sometimes when you start blotting, you get it, you know, down past your lip line or something. But so far, we don't need a ton of corner repair. Something that I had to learn when you're fixing the line of your lip, try to take your finger up off your skin right at the corner of your lip. Don't keep going, because I have truly done this myself. End up with like a streak across my cheek. It's not cute.
Now, AJ had an internet cutout and is confirming. AJ says, what did I miss? Black eyeliner, then red lipstick. Is that right? The black was actually a lip product, correct?
The black was on the outer sides of the lip. And I'm going to take that Queen lipstick and put that a little bit on the inner. No, I should make one final choice for you guys. So, do we want to see this center part brightened up a little bit? Or do you want me to put some of this silvery lavender down in kind of like a warrior line down the center of the lip? It's very popular in like belly dance to do like a line down in the middle. But with every culture, the Celts did it. They would put tribal markings on their faces. People in Brazil, like the indigenous peoples there, do various markings. So every culture has had some cool, like, I am bold, I am being badass kind of markings that they've done on their face, which is very neat.
All right, we've got 2 votes for the lavender warrior and 1 vote for red. 3 votes for the warrior.
All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is do a touch of the red on the outsides just to create a greater ombre difference. A little more ombre effect. A little less black. And then I will put that little dash in the middle. I love this Queen color. This is one that I got from BoxyCharm, and I was so happy that they gave me a true nice deep red, because they tend to always send me neutrals, which I'd never use. Not a neutrals girl. Another good thing about really pigmented opaque lipstick, not only does it stay longer, but for anybody who has like a difference in their mouth, like one of my favorite OG YouTubers, Vintage or Tacky, she's got a scar on her lip, and she can cover it with like the great pigment liquid lipstick, or any lipstick with lots of pigment, that you can correct your lip shape. Say you've got the bow of your lip higher than another, or a really thin lower lip, you can change that with lipstick, which is kind of amazing. One thing to note as I'm sitting here looking at my scales is that once you're done with your scales, until you use your setting spray, do not touch them. Do not try to correct one, because you're going to smear it. Just once that net is off, you got to let it be. As much of a booger as it is, you got to let it be. An option you can do if you have a new one, I'm not going to because it's old, so there's not enough to get it done, but you can use a liquid eyeliner on your lip. That I think is technically what this is. This is supposed to be a liquid eyeliner, or a liquid eyeshadow. But I use it on my mouth. Just take it. I'm wondering if you guys can see what I'm doing here.
Yes.
A lot of these have an angle, so you want to find the angle that you want to use. Like if you want a thin line, you want to use that section. If you want a fatter line, you want to use that one. Get my mirror a little closer here. This is the hardest part, is getting a straight line that's even on both sides. Okay. You know, it's extra hard to do your makeup when people are watching, and I am pretty happy with that line.
We can't see, it's behind the mirror, so we're waiting for the big reveal. Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, this actually turned out pretty straight. Sometimes, okay, here, I'm telling you another of my trade secrets. If you ever see me with like a really major ombre, sometimes it's totally intentional, and that's what I was going for to begin with. Other times, I start out trying to get this, and if it's janky, I will blot that booger around and make it more of a dramatic ombre. So again, you can always work and play with makeup. And be careful that you get it inside your lip so that when you open your mouth, you don't have a butthole effect. Who does it? Sophia Nygaard calls it the butthole lip. So you want to get it sort of in the inside. That way when you kiss, instead of And you can do one of two things. You can either intentionally blot, like I just talked about, and make it an ombre. But if you want to keep that line crisp, you got to make sure not to rub your lips too much.
AJ wants to know where to get a good mirror.
Pretty much anywhere. If you can go to places, to beauty stores, and get like really fancy mirrors, that's going to be my next big makeup purchase, is going to like Ulta and getting the 10x mirror. This used to be a stand mixer that it used to be a stand mirror that one of my cats knocked off the table. So now I just use it this way. And it just depends on what magnification you need. So this is like a regular and a 3x. They've got some that go up to like 10x. This one is a little travel guy. And as you can see, I've cleaned it so much over the years that it looks like I bit into it. It's got some of the finish missing. Oh, wow. So I do need, I need a new mirror. But I still carry it with me because it's light. And if I fill the battery compartment, it's got a little light.
Oh, cool.
That I can use. Do you guys have any questions about makeup on the go, traveling, anything like that while we're here before we go?
So once everything sets, your bold line will stay bold, or like throughout the day, do you need to kind of still be mindful of the fact that you have a line down the middle of your lips and you shouldn't move them around too much?
It's a little of both. Like, you don't have to worry about it, be super precious about it, because it's a liquid. It will not, like a regular lipstick, it will not bleed and feather and move all over the place. If I eat, I probably should carry something with me to touch up. But if you're doing something underwater, it should stay where it's put. And because I'm doing a siren look right now, I am doing a very bold outer wing. I'm trying to keep it very thin to my eye so we don't cover up everything that we just did. But Gonna have a pretty dramatic wing. And I like to use the bottom of my eye as a guide and bring it down, start down here and bring it up. I see a lot of people do that whole thing where they start from the outside and go to the inside, and I don't know how they do that. That is magic to me. I start from the inside and wing out. And I've got a pretty bold one today because Siren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vicky,
and what I'm going to...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say something about what I'm going to do later. Please, Vicky, go ahead.
Do people react to you more as a mermaid if you were wearing a makeup as opposed to how they react to you if you're not wearing makeup?
I don't tend to mermaid out in public without makeup. Every once in a while we have swims where it's just me in a bathing suit and I just happen to put on my tail. But those are just casual swims. If I am in full-on mermaid garb, I am in usually full makeup. I have found, though, and my friend Orchid, who I was mentioning earlier, she has commented on this as well. In my day-to-day life, when I am not wearing makeup, I don't get really commented on at all about my appearance. When I am wearing makeup, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so pretty. So it's interesting how that changes how people see you and that people see you. Sometimes you don't even get seen when you're not wearing all the stuff. And then when you are, it's like people finally notice. So it's interesting, the psychology of that.
Yeah. I'm like you. If I'm a mermaid, I probably have makeup on. And my friends tease me because we'll have meetups and I'm the one who's always like putting on my little bit of makeup for just a casual swim. But I have this thing, like if there's going to be a camera, I'm going to have on makeup. Well, as a mermaid, in my regular life, it's hard to get me in makeup.
Absolutely. And in my daily life, people think, oh, because I do all this makeup, I must run around 24/7 just with full cake face. And that could not be further from the truth. In my daily, because I wear all this stuff, I try to keep my skin as uncovered as possible, ungooked up as possible. You need to give your skin, especially if you do the full cake face, time to breathe, time to live, time to rest. Because this is a lot for your skin to handle, which is why I'm super glad that AJ asked about cleansing, because you need to do not sleep with your makeup on, please God. We all do it every blue moon when we're absolutely exhausted and we fall on the bed thinking, I'm just going to check my phone. But like, for the most part, please God, if you do a bunch of makeup or even just foundation or just concealer, if you're putting crap on your skin, please clean it before you go to bed, because your pores get very unhappy if you leave all this stuff on your skin for an extended period of time.
That's true. Vicky says, yeah, makeup helps with fantasy, even in the real world.
As for lashes, I don't tend to do them, but I have found something that I'm going to do later that you guys will see in the end result picture. I don't tend to do the classic lashes, but I just got magnetic lashes, and I love them. I put them on once a couple nights ago. They are so fun, and they actually work. I think one of you guys told me way back when that they have tried magnetic lashes and those don't work in the water, which I'm surprised about.
Yeah,
because you would think magnetics.
And I've read that in a couple different mermaid boards that they're really cool on land, not so great underwater.
I wonder why that is, because you would think magnets would work wet or dry, but that's strange that they don't.
Maybe it's like the motion. Maybe it's the force of the water when you're like moving. You know what I mean? Like maybe the water, it's not like the wetness so much as the like density, weight. I don't know, physics.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's the physics, not the chemistry. That's what I'm trying to say.
Beautifully put. Yes. Maybe it's the physics, not the chemistry. And maybe it's a combination of both. Like there's enough slip that if you get a little bit of water up under one of those magnets.
Yeah.
Entirely possible.
AJ
Do we
says
have
that looks beautiful, Loria.
Oh,
It really
thanks.
does. And a little spooky. Actually, a lot spooky.
Wait till you see, I might put one of my TikToks up. The reason why I've been wanting to do this is because there's this cool goo technique where you mix charcoal in with water or some other medium and you do like this kind of bleedy thing. And I've been really wanting to try it. So I've been wanting to do my spooky siren for a while now. And that's part of what this is going to be.
I'm glad we gave you an excuse.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I always feel like I don't do TikToks as often as I should just because it's a lot, like it's a process. So I often do TikToks after I'm done eventing. I cheat. I come home and then do a couple TikToks.
Smart.
Before we wrap up, if anybody is interested, I will be doing in future videos. I just got the SpongeBob full makeup set from what is the company that does that? The whole SpongeBob. They do the Legendary palette. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Google does.
It's not a makeup company that I usually work with, so I'm not thinking of it.
Is it Hip Dot?
Yes, Hip Dot. So yeah, they have a full collab. It's an authentic or authorized collab with SpongeBob, and it's all the SpongeBob characters in makeup, and there are masks, and there's a palette, and someone gifted me with that. So I'm going to be testing it out on my channel soon. So if you guys want to check that out, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that should be up. I'm trying to do a video every week. That's my new thing. We're in quarantine. I'm trying to do a video once a week. How about you, Shay? What about you?
For what am I pumping out?
Yeah, like what are your videos and stuff? Because I know you're doing like the helping people through this time videos now.
Oh yes, haha. Yeah. So if you know anybody who is struggling during COVID-19 in any way, like anybody who's been impacted by coronavirus, I'm doing free videos for folks. And I'm also just trying to do roughly once to twice a week. I think I was like twice a week, and then I don't know, I just hit the wall.
Just kind of fell off.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just had my like, this has been a really long time, an unanticipated, really long time of the world kind of being turned upside down. But I am going out early tomorrow to film. But I do what I'm calling like my motivational videos.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Thank you.
Motivational.
So I'm doing those and trying to, recruit my husband and help him pump up his photography skills and just trying to keep things rolling, and then just trying to give you all whatever it is you want through Society of Fat Mermaids. Trying to be as responsive as possible. So I thank everyone for being here.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So people can find you all over the place at Aloria, right? Like Instagram, you're at Aloria,
Yep.
and YouTube, you're at Aloria,
Yep.
and you are like the Aloria. So, and that's YLLURIA. It's right on the banner of this thing, Mermaid Makeup Monday featuring Aloria. So find Aloria everywhere.
And the only reason why that is because when I first started calling myself this, I Googled, and I have still continued to Google every now and then just to see if others pop up. I was kind of the only one, so I figured that was an easy, distinctive way. You Google it, you will find me.
That's brilliant.
The YouTube address just got changed from Illoria Water Song to Illoria because I didn't realize we could change our YouTube URLs. I'm really happy to have been able to do that.
Joseph.
And that is.
Oh, wow,
oh yeah.
that looks good. Oh, Joseph
That's
loves your makeup, loves the scale tutorial, and wants to do that to match his tail. I'm glad, Joseph, that you were able to come back in time for the
Yeah.
scale tutorial.
What color is your tail, Joseph?
Joseph, you just made a new tail, right? Is that correct? Did I see that somewhere online? B says pretty. Hillary says thank you.
Thank you, Hillary, for being here.
Yes, thank you everybody for being here.
Heck yeah.
You guys are like always the most awesome audience, and so engaged. B says the name Water Song is pretty. It really is.
Oh, thank you. Figured it was appropriate because I'm a singer and a belly dancer. Music is definitely got to be in there.
Smart.
That was my first ever mermaid name.
Water Song?
We were at the Oregon Renaissance Festival, and I had been hired on, and we were doing mermaiding every weekend for 6 weeks. It was amazing, Saturday and Sunday.
Very cool.
And I hopped in the pool, and they said, "What's your mermaid name?" And I went, Water Song. And so that was my. So I will put the resources, this whole list that I've compiled, in the event page, so that you guys can find it. All of you guys have been here, and I have the face chart so that you can plot out your own waterproofy looks. Has anybody used those? Has anybody of those printed those out? I'm hoping it will be useful for people.
I think I saw someone post one in the Society of Fat Mermaids Let's Connect group after the last class.
Oh my gosh.
In the journal.
If anybody decides to do a look inspired by what we've talked about today, oh my God, please show us on the event pages. That would be epic and awesome.
Absolutely.
I am just going to stay here and keep working until we close out. So you let us know when you're ready to skedaddle, Shay.
Well, I want to see you finish. I feel like I'm here till the setting spray. I think.
It's nearly there.
You said what?
It's nearly there.
Okay, cool.
I'm just gonna do a quick eyebrow highlight. Okay, so I've heard that this is totally a 90s thing, and I did not realize it was so dated until I heard people laugh at me about it. Do you guys feel like highlighting the brow bone is like a super 90s thing to do?
I've never heard of
My
it,
old
but it
school
does
doing
give like
that?
a 90s aesthetic, but it also like it really pops your eye. Like it's a pretty quick and dramatic thing.
Right? Yeah, I feel like it adds a little contrast. Especially when your eye is so dark, like you've got a really dark look, it kind of helps to balance stuff out. Don't forget to blend it. It's also a saving grace if you've gone a little too dark. You're like, oh God, this spot is too dark. And then you put a little white highlight and you're like, okay, it's not as bad.
Amanda does it.
Oh, cool. Glad I'm not the only one. Better. All right. I'm going to just take care of a little fallout here on my cheeky weekies and then setting spray. And later I will put photos up with me with different hair on and crowns. I've got a crown here. Do you guys want one more final secret of
all the secrets?
You want all the secrets?
Literally here for your secrets.
I had someone once tell me that I should keep certain things to myself, that I didn't give away all my secrets. I'm like, that's just not me. I don't want to play it close to the chest. I want to be able to help other people. So, one thing that I've done since the get-go, and it's probably because of the smaller budget, being a mermaid on a budget, is there we go, is using necklaces for crowns. You guys do that?
Oh.
That might not be a secret at all, but that's totally one thing that I've always done as a way to sort of see. Those are my body chains. So yeah, if you see me usually with a headpiece, like this is one that I've used as a headpiece before, since my other one is not right here. You just want to make sure that it lays on the forehead well.
Brilliant. And right on time. B says, OMG, I was thinking about the crown.
My hookup used to be Charming Charlie's, which was a place here in Portland where they sold jewelry by color. So you could walk in and I want a blue necklace today. And there's the blue section. There's the green section. There's the clear. They had a rhinestone section. It was epic. But they have since closed down. I think they have stores still open online though, which is good because I'd be a sad fishy if they were completely gone. All right. Got my fan here. Does anybody remember from the last class what you have to do with setting spray?
Oh, is that when you do your glamorous fan? And you just look so fabulous.
Setting sprays really, they work by evaporation because they have alcohol. My cats are like,
AJ
WTF.
remembers.
I put on crap tons because I like to make sure that my makeup doesn't go anywhere. And then you just wave it clean. And Sky, my boy cat, who just got up, is like, do not like air spray. Do not like. A few things that we as event mermaids in my area always seem to carry with us are hand fans. Because, you know, we're sitting out at events and baking in the sun all day. So these are amazing for those 90-degree, 100-degree days if we're not in the water. But also setting spray. So it's a lot more efficient than
and so much more glamorous.
True. Functional and glamorous. And I always tend to touch back up if I feel there are places that don't feel quite set. And I have tried Urban Decay. They have a little travel size if you want to try it, but are not quite up for the $30 investment straight out the gate. You can get from both Ulta and Sephora the Urban Decay travel size, which is $15. Still a lot to pay for setting spray if you're used to drugstore prices, but it's a little less heart attack worthy. And that gives you the chance to try it out. And it is the bomb for freaking anything waterproof. It's good stuff. Same with, somebody had initially mentioned the Final Seal from Makeup Forever, and I found out that they have a whole Aqua line all meant around proof. They have foundations, they have, no, not foundations, they have all kinds of other stuff, pencils and liners, and all set around being waterproof, which is pretty rad. And that's it, you guys. Setting spray happened.
Thank you so much, Aloria.
Thank you for letting me be here and having me. This was really cool. I'm sorry I was having technical difficulties to begin with.
I mean, it makes it more real or something, right?
It's real life. Yeah, definitely futzing with technology.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Claps. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us. Any final questions that anyone has?
Or maybe products that say they're waterproof, but they found out totally don't. That would be great. Like, help us avoid things that are kind of
right. Yeah. I'm gonna brag on my SOFM shirt. If anyone's new to Society of Fat Mermaids, we are, in addition to being a community, a clothing line. And so this is my Let's Be Mermaids, but first wine tee. AJ says, love you, Mers. AJ, we love and appreciate you. We love and appreciate everyone here. Thank you for joining in and tuning in. Again, follow
don't
Aloria
forget she's got
everywhere.
leggings too.
Oh yeah, we
She's
have
got
leggings
too.
up to a size 5X. And the leggings actually started an extra, extra small and go all the way up to a 5XL. What else was I going to say? This rebroadcast will end up on our YouTube page, our channel. And yeah, hang out with us at Society of Fat Mermaids. Let's connect.
And they're on Instagram and Facebook, just like me. We're on all the things. So you can find us, like, do you have a Twitter?
I have a very inactive Twitter. So
but you're super active on Instagram. Her Instagram is fabulous.
All right. Follow us at Society of Fat Mermaids. Follow me at Mermaid Shay Monique. I'll write my name in the comments. Mermaid Monique. All right, everybody have a fantastic evening, a phenomenal week. Hit us up, info@societyoffatmermaids.com will get you to me, and you can shoot me whatever you want to send my way. We're trying to do more community-based and just opportunities to both connect and learn and grow as MERS during this time. Society of Fat Mermaids is, you do not have to be a person who swims in a tail. If the word mermaid makes your heart glow, then you are welcome. You do not have to be fat, though we center fat bodies. And so if you're good with that, we love you. Everybody have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Shay, for having me.
Thank you so much, Aloria. Good night.